But Georgia, Georgia,
This track,
the whole day through,
battered from the summer southern heat,
just an old sweet song
weathered with history,
that keeps Georgia on my mind.
lane upon lane showing off scars of years
I
past.
said, Georgia,
A throwback, you might say, the way it ought to be.
Georgia,
60 years in Atlanta and still feeling fine.
no peace I find.
The names, for the most part, have changed over time.
Just an old sweet
However,
song,
one remains Georgia's favorite son.
Georgia on my mind.
The roar will come alive once again, and it just gets better with age.
But Georgia, Georgia,
Oh, don't let those smooth sounds of Georgia fool you. Today will be anything but for our NASCAR drivers, tackling the tough Atlanta track. Welcome to this pre-race edition of NASCAR Race Hub, presented by Coca-Cola. Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Spake, and the last few weeks in NASCAR have been 100% unpredictable. So you know what? It's likely to continue today. But one thing that you can predict is that Jamie McMurray and America's crew chief, Larry McReynolds, will tell you everything you need to know for today's race. Hi there, guys. It's a great Sunday when we're all together here getting ready for racing. And Jamie, once again, we head into today's race with a lot of unknowns. No practice. We don't know who has the best car. No qualifying. We don't know who's fast. But there are some things that we do know, right, Jamie? What are they?
Well, we know that Chase Elliott's going to be a part of the story. And let me say, as I heard that song going on, I got a little bit nervous, Shannon, that you were going to start singing for all of us again.
I can still do that, Jamie.
Yeah, I know that you can. Listen, Chase Elliott, though, has been a part of the story for the last 4 races. You think back to the second Darlington race. He's in position to win that. He gets turned by Kyle Busch on the front stretch, ends his day. A few days later, they're at the Coke 600. He's leading with just 2 laps to go. A late race caution falls and cost him a shot at the win. He then comes out and he wins the truck race and beats Kyle Busch for the bounty and gets out and he takes a bow, kind of mocking Kyle Busch, which was so much fun to see. And then last week at Bristol, he's racing Joey Logano for the win, and he actually ends up causing the wreck. So Chase Elliott, our most popular driver, every week is a part of the story.
He sure is, right, Larry?
Yeah, and we do know that he has been to victory lane already this year. The other thing we know, as hard as it is to believe, we are 1/4 of the way through the 2020 season. And think about all the drivers still looking for their first win this year. And it's a lot of our Cup champions. You think about Kyle Busch. You think about his teammate Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson. They are champions that are still looking for victory lane. In fact, Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. last year, they won a combined 12 races, and this year, after 9 races, a goose egg in the win column.
Oh, yes. And you mentioned Jimmy Johnson, active win leader at Atlanta with 5, looking to add his name to this list today. These are the drivers who have collected the checkered flag in 2020. 6 different winners. 3 of them have multiple wins, including, of course, last week's winner, Brad Keselowski. But if you look close, you're going to notice, as Larry just mentioned, one name that's missing from that list is defending series champ Kyle Busch. Jamie, what do you make of the fact that Kyle has yet to win a race this season?
Well, I'm not worried about Kyle Busch. The guy has 56 Cup wins. He's the winningest driver in the Xfinity Series and the Gander Outdoor Truck Series. And he's got 5 top 5s this year, Shannon. Over 50% of the time he's been in the top 5. And I don't think he's had top 5 cars. I think Kyle Busch as a driver and as his team have kind of fabricated those finishes. When Toyota gets their program a little better, they're behind right now because of the new Chevy body, and Ford clearly has stepped up. But I'm not worried about Kyle Busch at all.
Larry, you have something to say to Jamie?
So, Jamie, have you and I been experiencing the same Kyle Busch over these years? That man hates losing more than he enjoys winning. I promise you, he is not happy with just a solid top 5 finish. Think back to last year after 9 races. He had already been to victory lane 3 times. He had led 599 laps at this point last year. This year, 0 wins. He's only led 114 laps, and 100 of those was at Bristol. Jamie, Kyle Busch and I, we are a little concerned right now.
And Jamie, we're out of time for you, so you cannot come back. That's where it's going to have to stand.
No rebuttal on my part, right?
Nothing. So Kyle Busch doesn't have a win, but he has been fast. In fact, last Sunday at Bristol, Kyle was all about the Xfinity fastest lap. He had 55 of the fastest laps of the race, more than Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, and race winner Brad Keselowski. Kyle will start 4th out at Atlanta today. We've still got more on the hub. Jimmy Johnson's going to roll off 15th today in the 5-time Atlanta Atlanta winner and 7-time champ, is going to join us to talk about what's clicking for the 48 team. And then later, Chase Elliott, he has been super fast, as we just mentioned. He's had the car to beat, and he's going to join us to talk about the highs and the lows of the last few races. Here on NASCAR Race Hub, you know, Jimmy Johnson has had so much success at Atlanta Motor Speedway, 5 wins, and this weekend the track is saying thank you in such a big way. Check it out, Atlanta revealing the Jimmy Johnson Grandstand, such a cool honor for the 7-time champ. Jimmy Johnson is one of today's Super 6 drivers, so you have a chance to win money during today's race. Just download the Fox Bet Super 6 app to play for free. If you correctly predict how these 6 drivers will finish, you could win the grand prize. The jackpot is up to $80,000. Check it out, Jimmy Johnson right in the middle, and check it out, Jimmy Johnson is here with us now. Jimmy, thanks for taking a few minutes to join us. So you and I spoke a few weeks ago. You told me you were pretty pumped about the way that your team was performing the first 4 weeks of the season. Now that we've resumed racing, where do you feel like you've picked up where you guys left off?
Yeah, I feel like we're even a tick stronger, which is amazing to say, especially when, you know, the doors were closed at Hendrick. And how we could work on our equipment and get stronger was so limited. But I feel like a telltale sign of our cars was the race in Fontana. And then we were so excited just before the shutdown to be going to Atlanta. We raced Phoenix, but we knew our performance at Fontana was so strong that Atlanta was going to be a place to showcase our fast cars once again. And it was delayed, clearly, and we have that opportunity today, and I'm really excited to get there and get racing.
So, Jimmy, I'm not going to beat around the bush. At this race a year ago at Atlanta, it was looking pretty dismal for Hendrick Motorsports. The top finishing driver was 15th. And you actually said earlier this week, this race a year ago was a wake-up call for the Hendrick organization. Now, I know you have Cliff Daniels, who you have a lot of faith as your crew chief. But for you, what is the biggest difference today versus a year ago?
Well, it's, as you know so well, I mean, things evolve. When we left Atlanta, we kind of felt like our mechanical grip going into Atlanta last year, we felt like our mechanical grip was adequate and there may be something somewhere else. And we realized, you know, we had issues in all areas of creating grip, and Atlanta really kind of uncovered that for us on a mechanical grip side. We did a nice job as a company improving on that over the course of the year. Chase Elliott was able to win a few times. We all became much more competitive. But this year, looking at this year, the new body that we have on our cars put us back in the game. We just did not have what we needed last year to create efficient downforce in the cars. And NASCAR took a good hard look at it and you know, kept the other 2 manufacturers where they were based on their information from the wind tunnel and allowed the Camaro to have another shot at it. And that's been a big plus for us this year.
You know, Jimmy, when I think back to the early 2000s when we first came into the sport, we watched guys like Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, a lot of them that we grew up watching on TV. They would be recognized at the drivers' meeting for their career. Later on, we saw Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and the track president would give them gifts. I think Jeff Gordon actually got a pony, which I don't know if you want. But, you know, they would recognize them and kind of celebrate their career. And you're not getting to have that. Is it disappointing for you, or are you thankful that you're not having to go through all that?
It is nice not worrying about where I'm going to put a pony, but there are some aspects to it that definitely, you know, aren't what we thought they would be. On my side, you know, there's still a lot of racing left, and I feel like the way things are trending, you know, the year, there's a chance fans will be back at the track, and there's a chance for some of those opportunities to happen. Even without fans, there's something really special happening today with my name on the grandstands at Atlanta. So sure, it's not what, you know, we kind of thought it would be, but it's still really special. And I honestly, I'm not looking for those moments. And my respect that I have for my peers, and I know how much my fans appreciate what I've done in the car, you know, that's kind of filled my bucket in that respect. I do feel like the fans are missing out to some degree. My fans that wanted to see me at their home track, you know, my last time there on a full-time basis, or potentially ever. So, you know, my feelings are more on the fan side than for my own, kind of my own side.
Jimmy, be honest, have you been practicing your Grand Marshal duties for today? Just a little bit, maybe?
You know, I actually kind of forgot about that. I've been in Oklahoma all week with my in-laws and some friends. So, yeah, I need to warm up my voice a little bit and try to bring some energy today as I say, gentlemen, start your engines.
There you go. Good luck doing that, and good luck in the race today, Jimmy. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Up next on The Hub, Jimmy's teammate Chase Elliott's going to join us to talk about racing at his home track in Atlanta. Plus, you know, we've seen a side of Elliott's personality this season that we haven't in past years. We're going to ask him about that, and maybe it's the shoes. At least today, we're going to tell you what we mean. That's next. Welcome back to NASCAR Race Hub, presented by Coca-Cola. So, you know, it feels like the 9 of Chase Elliott has had a season's worth of ups and downs in just the last few weeks. But you know something else he's had? Super fast race cars. And you know what? That's always a really good thing.
It's a long way to
Kyle Busch turns Chase Elliott.
Caution is out for William Byron.
He's coming.
And that should put Brad Keselowski back in the lead. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. He has captured the bounty. Chase Elliott wins at Charlotte.
Hell yeah.
When guys work this hard, you know that eventually it's going to go their way.
Buddy. We did it, boys.
Finally, Chase Elliott gets to burn down the house. Bump and run there from Chase Elliott. They're up and in the wall. Here comes Keselowski. Oh, my goodness.
When Chase just sent it in there and got loose, took them both out.
So no denying that Chase Elliott has been one of the most talked about drivers in 2020. So why don't we talk to him here on Race Hub as he joins us now. Chase, thanks for taking a few minutes to chat with us. Before we get to the racing, tell me about the racing shoes that you and your Hendrick Motorsports teammates are going to be wearing today.
Yeah, well, first off, I appreciate them doing it. We've been doing this ever since I got to Cup, and we've been having what we call a design to drive at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and let patients design a pair of shoes, and we bring them to life through Alpine Stars, and myself and my 3 teammates wear them, and then we auction them off, and the proceeds go to Children's, and yeah, it's been a fun program. But typically we have the patients and their families come out to the race, and we host them. Unfortunately, we can't do that this weekend, but nonetheless, still going to have the shoes and going to auction them off post-race and hopefully do some good.
Well, Chase, that's a really cool program that you guys have. I want to talk a little bit about your personality coming out this year. We saw Alan Gustafson go down and defend you to talk to Kyle Busch at the end of the Darlington race. And then I loved it this week. There was a tweet that you replied to Mark Martin, replying to a fan maybe being negative about Alan. I thought it was fun and kind of witty to see what you said. And then I think about the truck race at Charlotte. You go out the first race, you win the bounty, and then you take a bow, which was pretty comical, mocking what Kyle Busch does every weekend. Just curious, look, it's been 5 years. You've been like a really quiet guy, even though you're our most popular driver. And this year we've seen a little more personality. So, I mean, what's the difference this year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know. Just been, trying to have some more fun. And I think one thing too is our performance has been better, and I think that we've been running a little better, and I think that makes everybody's attitude better for sure. So that's a good question. I don't know. I think just trying to have some more fun, enjoy it. This stuff isn't forever. We all know that, and might as well enjoy while it's here and worry less about what the rest of everybody else thinks.
Well, Chase, we love personality, but Atlanta Motor Speedway, it's your home track. You still call Georgia home. It's a track your dad won at 5 times. You have 8 starts there across the top 3 series of NASCAR. I know the truck race results yesterday were not what you were looking for, but Chase, almost every since you ran your first race there in 2014 in an Xfinity Series car, you finished 5th. You have took a liking to that 1.5-mile track. What is it that fits your style about that track?
Yeah, I enjoy racing at Atlanta for sure. It's been a fun track to run at. It's definitely a place that takes a lot of rhythm and a lot of precision. I think one thing that helped me, honestly, the year we went there for the first time in Xfinity, I was teammates with Kevin, and I had a chance to talk to him a good bit about the racetrack, and his approach obviously is unique, and a lot of people have been trying to replicate that unsuccessfully for many years now, including myself. But it's I think that helped me to kind of gain the liking for it and enjoy that challenge, and hopefully we can figure it out a little better than we have today.
Hey, Chase, when you walk back into the hauler and you look at your teammates, you look at your team in the eyes, I know that drivers want those guys to know that you left everything on the racetrack. You gave it everything you had to try to win a race. How much did you think about your guys and that moment walking back in the hauler in the closing laps at Bristol?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the good thing is for us as a group, I feel like we've seen some pretty tough days in our short period together. We've had some tough losses. I mean, some of those were self-inflicted, some of them not. But I think through that you grow as a group, and I think they know that I'm the type of guy who wants to give it my best effort. I'm not somebody who wants to throw in the towel, towards the end of a race. And last week at Bristol, I felt like I left it all there on the track, and ultimately I had the support of my team beyond that. And really, at the end of the day, it's all that matters. I mean, we're not in a sport to be friends with our competitors the way I see it, and I think you have to be greedy because that's the way they're going to be to you as competitors, as they should be. So I think our group has become closer over these years with some of those tough losses and then having a little bit of success. So hopefully we can just translate that into a good run and go on down the road.
Well, hope that good run translates for you today. I know how important Atlanta is to you. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes, Chase. Appreciate it.
You bet. Sorry about my bumpy car ride, but we'll, hopefully my Camaro today is smooth here in Atlanta. We'll find out.
And Chase Elliott's going to lead the field to green in just under 35 minutes as you take a look at our Pizza Hut countdown clock. We are going to make our race picks coming up next. Maybe one of these guys are on our list. Check it out.
Welcome back to Race Hub. Mike Joy with Jeff Gordon getting ready to broadcast the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 from Atlanta. And Jeff, you can't talk Atlanta without talking about Kevin Harvick.
No, you really can't, Mike. I mean, this track is about precision, and I think Kevin Harvick is so smooth and so precise in his driving. That bottom line, the way you have to hook the left front, the left rear to be able to make speed through the corner and do it lap after lap, one of the most challenging things you'll do as a race car driver, and nobody does it better than Kevin Harvick.
Trucks and Xfinity raced here yesterday, so there's rubber on the racetrack, but we know what an abrasive surface it is. With no practice, no qualifying, what's ahead?
This has always been one of my favorite mile and a halves. Of course, it was the first track that I ever raced on in the Cup Series, and what I love so much about it is all the options. You've got that bottom line that you got to be precise on. You've got a lot of bumps. You've got a middle lane, a top lane, all the way up against the wall. The restarts are going to be wild and crazy, so it's fun to watch and it's fun to compete in as a driver.
All right, we'll be live from Atlanta for 500 miles at the top of the hour.
Thanks so much, Mike. Looking forward to race coverage, which, of course, is coming up next. And don't forget, you can catch more Race Hub Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. on FS1. Tomorrow, we're going to recap everything from today's race in Atlanta, and we're going to set the starting lineup for Wednesday's race in Martinsville. Tuesday, you can check out Radioactive. Wednesday, Jamie, Larry, and I are back to get you ready for Cup racing at Martinsville. And then a second Radioactive on Thursday. Whew, it's a full, fun week, 6 Eastern on FS1. Time now for a little hit the gas or pump the brakes. You guys ready? Let's start with Team Penske. 4 wins this season. Joe Gibbs Racing has 2. So, Larry, if I say Team Penske is going to end the year with more wins than Joe Gibbs Racing, are you hitting the gas or are you pumping the brakes?
Well, people probably think I've hit my head, but I'm going to say hit the gas. I like what's going on right now with these new driver crew chief combinations there, and I just think the Toyota, they're just off a little bit.
Jamie, we've never accused him of hitting his head, have we?
I'm sure that he's hit his head at some point, Shannon. But listen, I'm going to pump the brakes on this. Look, Toyota is a little bit behind right now, but history shows us that JGR is one of the strongest organizations in our series, and I think they'll get it turned around soon and be able to come back.
All right, Jamie, twice this season, the driver who led the most laps won the race. This is what I'm going to say. The driver that leads the most laps today does not win the race. What do you say about that?
I'm going to say that's a super confusing question, but hit the gas is what I'm going to say. And the reason is, Shannon, this track shows us that the guy that leads the most laps has only won one of the last 6 races. So I just don't see that happening today.
Not the first time that I've confused you, Jamie. What about you, Larry?
I'm going to say pump the brakes for 2 reasons. One, Jamie McMurray said hit the gas, but the other reason, yeah, I know it's not happened since Kevin Harvick did it the first Darlington race. I'll give you a little more information here shortly, but I do think whoever wins this race today, they will lead the most laps.
Foreshadowing. We love it. We love it. Larry, your turn. We've had 6 different winners this season. Are you hitting the gas or pumping the brakes on us adding a 7th name to that list?
Well, I know you can't go fast if you're pumping the brakes, but I'm still going to pump the brakes right there. The drivers that are winning right now, they're the ones that's running up front, and I just don't see a new winner today.
Jamie?
Well, even though he's hit his head, I'm going to have to agree with Larry Mack. Pump the brakes. And I'm going to tell you why as soon as I tell you who's going to win the race in this next segment, Shannon.
Oh, my goodness. You guys are doing my job for me. So here it is, time for our race picks. Jamie, you just kind of gave us a little bit of a nugget, a little McNugget, right? You're up first. Who you got this week?
Well, I'm taking the guy that we just talked to, Chase Elliott. Look, he won the last 1.5 mile race. He's a Georgia boy. It's his home track. His dad's won here 5 times. I know how important it's going to be for him, and he has the best average finish of all the active drivers. Chase Elliott's been the story the last month, so I'm going with him.
Can you hear the siren ringing from Atlanta Motor Speedway, Larry?
Gordon Perkle, right, Larry?
Yeah, there you go,
Gordon
Jamie.
Perkle. But, yeah, my pick will be the man that has led the most laps 5 out of the last 6 races ever since he joined Stewart-Haas Racing. I know he only got the win 1 time in those 6 races. Kevin Harvick will get his 3rd win at Atlanta Motor Speedway today.
Wow, I like that pick, but not as much as I like mine. Larry, a wise man said that if you're fast at Auto Club Speedway, you're going to be fast at Atlanta. That wise man was you, so I'm shocked that you didn't pick the guy that I'm going to pick, who is Alex Bowman. That's who I think is going to get it done. Thank you guys so much for being here with us today. Race coverage starts right now.
You couldn't start the season really any better.
This is spectacular.
3 weeks, 5 races, 4 winners. Fantastic racing.
I almost had to jump out of my chair over here, Mike.
The thrill ride of NASCAR has brightened up the summer with more fun and excitement than ever before.
These drivers are driving harder than they ever have before. It's just a great time right now in NASCAR.
No practice, no qualifying, no problem. This is old school. Strap in, gear up, go fast, and bump and bang until you win the race or wreck out. This is fun. This is thrilling. This is NASCAR on Fox.
Fox Sports welcomes you to Atlanta Motor Speedway. And the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500. Yes, it has been a thrill ride as NASCAR races its way back to complete a full season in 2020. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy with Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon. And here we are at a track that is one of the most challenging on the whole circuit.
Mike, this track chews up those Goodyear tires. But what I love about this as a competitor, as a driver, is the choices it gives me. I have the opportunity to go down and hook the bottom, or I can go up top, right up against the fence. The drop-off is going to be huge. And if all those other challenges weren't enough, it's going to be hotter and slicker than it's been in a long time here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Well, as we have returned to racing, and we're glad to be back at the track, turmoil has engulfed our entire country. Athletes have been speaking out. Now, Bubba Wallace is ready to race, and we're going to allow him to concentrate on that. But Bubba asked us to share with you the views that he expressed this week on NASCAR Race Hub.
You know, it's definitely a lot, and it's tough to digest everything that's going on right now, and managing the racing side of everything. But it's something that the more vocal we are about it, and I mean we as in all of us in our community, we need all the drivers to speak up and stand up and speak up and voice their opinion, whether you're involved directly or indirectly. Your voice matters. I talked about this earlier with Dale Jr. and Chase Elliott. You don't know who's following you. You don't know who's looking up to you. It could be a person that carries hate in their life every day. It could be a person that goes through hate every day in their life. And words from you could change the outlook and how they think just by hearing you say something. So I encourage all of my peers, all of my competitors to step up and do better than what we have and continue to do that. Don't let this just go by like everything's okay. The day after Mr. George Floyd lost his life, my mom said, "Good morning. I pray as a mom of a black son that I never have to hear you crying out, 'I can't breathe.' I love you, Bubba, and your life matters to me."
I've been racing my whole life. Bubba Wallace is like many drivers that I've encountered along the way. Thoughtful, talented, fiercely competitive. We share in the fact that we made it to the pinnacle motorsports, the NASCAR Cup Series. But our journeys, both professional and personal, are vastly different. I'll never know what it's like to walk in Bubba's shoes or the shoes of anyone who's experienced racism. But I do know I can be better. We can do better to create positive change. I've been in NASCAR for more than 25 years. And when people are in pain, when the world's in crisis, our community doesn't take that lightly and wants to do their part to help. But we need to step up now, more than we ever have in the past. We are listening. We are learning. We are ready for change.
Well said, Jeff. So often we look to sports as our escape from the realities of the world we live in. But the events of the last 2 weeks, our sports heroes have put themselves on the front lines of the social injustices that scatter this country of ours. It's nearly impossible for some to just be athletes. Now more than ever, it's important we keep listening, keep learning, and most of all, keep the conversation going. Now here is Atlanta Motor Speedway chaplain John Dewberry with today's invocation.
Let's pray. Father, I pray for our country. I pray that you allow our country to be a country that shows unity, love, and justice. And Lord, I also pray for the leadership of our country, that they remain faithful to you so that they may be able to make decisions as it goes about the unity for this country. And I pray for the victims that have been victimized by racism, that their voices may be heard, but their voices also may be one of love in return. And Lord, I pray also for all the leaders that are out front dealing with these issues. I pray that you allow them to be faithful to you, but also to be faithful to the country. And Lord, I pray for all the healthcare workers, that you continue to keep them safe as they go about the business of keeping us safe. And Lord, I pray for this race today. I pray that you allow the drivers, the pit crew, and all those that have been involved to make this day great, that you keep them safe. In Jesus' name I do pray. Amen.
A 12-year-old gospel singer from Jacksonville, Quiktrip Bryant's song, "I Just Want to Live," has gone viral in the turmoil of these last 2 weeks. Here is Quiktrip Bryant to perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight less gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Us that gold banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
With all my favorite colors, yes, sir. All my favorite colors. My sisters and my brothers see them like no other. All my favorite colors. It's a good day to be, a good day for me, a good day to see my favorite colors.
Atlanta, heartbeat of the South, and 30 miles to the south is Hampton, Georgia, Atlanta Motor Speedway, and today's Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500. Who always leads the most laps in Atlanta? No secret. It's the driver who's with Jamie Little.
Well, Kevin Harvick is so good at Atlanta that he has his own term for his ability here, and that's called Harvicking. We talked about it on the air during the Xfinity race, Kevin, but it seems like no matter what they throw at you, different tire, different engine, different rules package, you find that line so you can Harvick. How do you do that?
Well, it's just been Atlanta's been a great racetrack for us, and I think last year it kind of didn't go as good as we would have liked it to have gone with all the practice that we missed and the huge rule change and the difference in throttles. So hopefully we are a little bit better today with our Busch Light Ford Mustang, but it's definitely been a great racetrack, and they've done a really good job in giving me cars that I can do what I like to do here. So it's a challenging day when it's 40 or 50, 60 degrees, let alone when it's this warm. So I'm looking forward to today.
All right, Kevin Harvick's the lap leader and a two-time winner in Atlanta.
Thanks, Jamie. All right, $80,000. Do I have your attention now?
You have mine, Mike.
Well, that's what you can win during today's race. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app, play for free, and correctly pick how 6 drivers will finish, and you could win, yes, with the rollover, up to 80 grand. So other than Kevin Harvick, Jeff, who are some of the ones to watch?
Yeah, no doubt. If you're looking for a lineup, let's start with Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski has won 2 of the last 3 races at Atlanta. He's already won 2 of the last 3 here in 2020. So good bet and good odds on him. Martin Truex Jr., also a guy that you can go with because he is going to be strong today. Top 10 finishes in the last 5 Atlanta races, including a runner-up in last year. I think this guy is due. And then Jimmy Johnson, 5-time Atlanta winner, including 2 of the last 5 races here. And hey, when you've got your own grandstand named after you, you have to put him in your lineup.
That's a pretty cool tribute right there. That sign went up today for Jimmy Johnson's grandstand here in Atlanta. Fans, we wish you could be at Atlanta Motor Speedway today. I'm sure there are a few people in those condominiums that are going to watch the action, but we're glad to be able to bring you this race on Fox. Now, Kevin mentioned the weather. It is a lot warmer than when we usually race here at the end of February. So that certainly will have an effect. 84 degrees. We're used to 54, maybe 64, but 84 degrees today. Heavy cloud cover. Winds out of the southeast at 8 miles per hour. Don't think there's any rain in those clouds. Well, you mentioned Jimmy Johnson, and who better to give today's command than the driver who will start his final Atlanta Motor Speedway race of his 7-time championship-winning career right now.
You gonna point at me? Now? Drivers, start your engines!
Nice. That's how you get them started, Mike.
That's right. And there's a wonderful noise as the engines fire up on pit road. It's the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 on Fox from Atlanta Motor Speedway.
This is a tough, challenging mile-and-a-half racetrack.
Atlanta is bumpy, it's rough, it's unforgiving.
These tires are going to be worn down to the core.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Do not adjust your set. Whoa! That makes me dizzy every time they do that. The Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500. 500 miles, 325 laps around Atlanta Motor Speedway. Starting lineup, the top 12 in owner points drew for the first 12 positions. 13 through 24 drew as a group. 25 through 36, and then the non-chartered cars, as you see there on the left side of your screen.
Mike, what do you say we dial up Clint Boyer starting 5th today? Hey, Clint Boyer, Jeff and Mike here at the Fox Studios. You got me?
I got you, buddy.
Well, man, coming off a great finish, 2nd place in Bristol. This track's been good to you the last couple times, top 5s. Tell us about all these choices you have to make as a driver. Bottom, middle, top. Man, what's it going to be like today?
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, watching that broadcast yesterday, all over the place, trying to figure out where that groove's at. Seems like it's down in 1 and 2, more than 3 and 4. Seems like 3, you know, you got to be on the bottom down through there. But trying to find that momentum. It's so key at this racetrack. Fun racetrack. Slipping and sliding around this old wore-out surface. Got a little corn we're selling today for the farmers. Got a lot of farmers out there keeping this world going, and looking forward to representing them. Hopefully sharing one of these Busch beers with you after the race, huh?
I like the way that sounds, man. Well, hey, listen, you're a dirt tracker. When you're running through these big, fast turns that's so abrasive like this, you know, how does that relate to maybe some dirt racing that you've done in the past?
Definitely is. Again, you know, you're balancing this race car on this old wore-out surface at this place, kind of with your throttle. Whereas, you know, at a Charlotte or some of these other mile-and-a-half tracks that we go to, you're really gripping and ripping, driving them with the steering wheel. You got to treat the hill gas pedal like it's got an egg underneath of it. Don't blow these tires off. Don't over-push the right front tire. Keep a good balance on your race car. Hopefully, old Johnny and the boys got me a good setup here. We're got good track position. Just got to keep it.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us. Good luck.
Thanks, buddy.
Now, if you notice the look of Clint Boyer, you see that Busch is doubling down on their Farmers Initiative with a dual corn paint schemes for Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer. And they're also getting you involved by giving away corn-themed ATVs and a year's worth of sweet corn. So go to Twitter now and tweet hashtag for the farmers and hashtag Busch sweepstakes, and you're entered. All right, one pace lap in the books. Next time by, They'll come down pit road and gauge pit road speed because, remember, no practice, no qualifying. And 5 drivers will go to the rear. Unique pit road here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's bring in our crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Well, Mike, you talked about it, 500 miles, and these guys are going to make a ton of trips to pit road for 4 fresh tires. Now, if you watched the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series race yesterday, a lot of mistakes, speeding on pit road, out of control tires, over the wall too soon, driving through too many pit boxes. Let me give you one other challenge, though. These pit boxes are some of the smallest on the circuit, only 28 feet long. Do the math. A race car is 16.5 feet. That only leaves you less than 6 feet per end, and that's if you get it right in the middle of the box. But trust me, you're doing 45 miles per hour, pit signs are waving up and down, and you're trying to park in your spot with 30 of your closest friends, Mike.
So good luck with that, in other words, right? All right, 5 drivers are going to have to drop to the back for the start of this race. Kurt Busch failed inspection 3 times and has a pass-through penalty as well as starting in the rear. Corey LaJoie failed twice, as did Garrett Smithley. Cole Custer and Timmy Hill will go to the rear for unapproved adjustments. Down to pit road, Jamie.
Mike, Chase Elliott has the best average finish here at his home track, but he's never won a race and he's never led a lap. Well, today he's leading the field to green for the first time. Now, as crew chief Alan Gustafson told me, he is a little bit concerned about their short run speed today. Their focus has been the long run for 500 miles, but in the grand scheme of it, he said we need to lead some laps and lead them early. Mike?
Thanks, Jamie. The Chase Elliott Foundation active today with shoes for the Hendrick drivers. And remember, he won that the Bounty.
Yes,
at the truck race, and he's decided where the money is going. Kevin Harvick's $50,000 goes to Feed the Children COVID-19 response. And here's a look at the Design to Drive shoes of the Hendrick drivers. Patients from age 5 on up did those designs, and you can go to NASCARfoundation.org/Chase Elliott and can be part of this great fundraising initiative by patients' siblings or patients from Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Those shoes are being auctioned off now through June 14th, and that's where you go. Also, the $50,000 donated to the Bounty by Marcus Lemonis. Chase donated $25,000 of that to the Red Cross, and in what I think is a great gesture, $25,000 go to the Kyle Busch Foundation and the Bundle of Joy Fund that Kyle and Samantha have set up. Kyle very appreciative on social media of that gesture, and well done by Chase Elliott.
Absolutely. Great gesture.
Good use of that bonus money. So this would ordinarily be the 1 to go sign as the cars come off turn number 4 and approach the front straightaway. But instead, the pace vehicle is slowing and is going to bring these cars to a halt. The crew members are lined up on the pit wall as the field comes to a halt. NASCAR has stopped the cars here on the front straightaway so that NASCAR President Steve Phelps can address today's competitors.
And everyone, please stand by for a message from NASCAR President Steve Phelps. Let's get home. Thank you for your time. Our country is in pain, and people are justifiably angry, demanding to be heard. The black community and all people of color have suffered in our country, and it has taken far too long for us to hear their demands for change. Our sport must do better. Our country must do better. The time is now to listen, to understand, and to stand against racism and racial injustice. We ask our drivers, our competitors, and all our fans to join us in this mission, to take a moment of reflection, to acknowledge that we must do better as a sport. And join us as we now pause and take a to listen.
We're no strangers to moving fast.
And we know how life can have that same quality.
But now
is the time to slow down
and reflect.
The events of recent weeks
highlighted the work we still need to do as a nation to condemn racial inequality and racism.
The deaths of George Floyd,
Breonna Taylor,
Ahmaud Arbery, and countless others in the black community are heartbreaking.
are heartbreaking and can no longer be ignored.
Process begins with us listening and learning, because understanding the problem
It's the first step in fixing it.
We are committed
to listening with empathy.
And with an open heart to better educate ourselves.
We will use this education to advocate
For change in our nation, our communities,
And most importantly, in our own homes.
even after the headlines go away.
all of our voices, they make a difference.
no matter how big or how small.
It is all of our responsibility
to no longer be silent.
To no longer be silent.
We just can't stay silent.
We have a long road ahead of us.
But let's commit to make that journey together.
Together.
Our differences should not divide us.
It is our love for all mankind.
That will unite us
As we work together
to make real change.
To make real change.
As we work together to make real change.
During the moment of listening, that 30 seconds of silence that NASCAR has observed, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. That's from the Declaration of Independence. As true or truer now as it was then. But as we said earlier, sports, live sports, are our escape from everyday life. So for the next couple of hours, we're going to escape at nearly 200 miles an hour and entertain you with America's best drivers in America's fastest hot rods around one of America's toughest speedways. One lap to go. So to get us ready to race, Larry McReynolds has today's race analysis.
Yeah, Mike, we mentioned it earlier. 325 laps, 500 miles. The stages, 105 the first two and 115 the checkered flag. Pit road speed, pay close attention, 45 miles per hour. The fuel window, 58 to 62 laps. But yes, a tire window, 30 to 40 laps. 40 laps, you'll be slowing down about 2.5 seconds from fresh tires. And we will have a competition caution at lap 25. And remember, Mike, the rules, you cannot fuel the car until that competition caution.
Larry, 13 sets of tires. That's as many tires as these teams had to go 600 miles in Charlotte a couple of weeks ago.
Mike, if you run 5 laps and that caution comes out, it's pretty simple. 4 fresh tires this time.
Yeah, if enough cautions come, they could use every one of those sets up today, Mike.
Wow. All right, let's take a look at today's Ford Performance Track Facts. Ford has won the last 3 races here at Atlanta. 2 by Brad Keselowski and 1 by Kevin Harvick. Pace vehicle is in, and Haley Hartwick, Folds of Honor Scholarship recipient and Baylor graduate, waves the green flag. We're underway in Atlanta. Elliott, Logano, then everybody.
And we already saw right there at the start, sometimes that outside groove is a bit of a disadvantage when you're on the front row. We saw that there down Marola. When he took off there, that car did not get up to speed. He's already lost a couple positions.
Kurt Busch serving his pass-through penalty for failing inspection 3 times. That will put him deep toward the end of the lead lap when he gets back up to speed.
Mike, Chase's dad, Bill Elliott, won here 5 times. That's the first lap Chase has ever led in a cup race at Atlanta Motor Speedway right there.
Wow.
Remember, just a week ago, these 2 guys that are 1-2 right now, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, going for that win. You see right there, Kurt Busch coming off pit road. He's going to be a lap down at the very beginning of this race. That's a costly mistake by that team not being able to get their inspection.
Eric Jones moves up to 8th. Here comes Jimmy Johnson. He's picked up 2 already from the start. These are the other Busch brothers, I'm told. The Korn brothers.
Now, what's Kevin Harvick doing on the top groove? That guy only knows one line around here. That Harvick line around the bottom, and he goes by his teammate by using that top groove.
Experimenting, maybe?
Well, hey, you go where the driver or the car in front of you isn't. When they're punching that big of a hole in the air, you need clean air, and that's what makes Kevin Harvick so good. He's not really just we laugh about it, and we show how good he is around the bottom, and he gets that clean air, goes back down to the bottom. But he showed right there he's got a fast race car, and he's willing to put that car wherever he needs to.
Right behind Boyer, Eric Jones on the move. He's already picked up 4 spots.
I can't even stress to you, Mike, how challenging it is to blast into the corners here at 180, 190 miles per hour. All the bumps, getting the heights right, getting the balance right, trying to hook the line around the bottom and do it with absolutely no practice. You see both of these guys, Eric Jones, Bobble, there's a huge bump at the bottom groove through 1 and 2. You saw both of the cars of Alex Bowman and Eric Jones get sideways as they went over that bump. On board here with Jimmy Johnson.
Trouble early for B.J. McLeod. He's coasted onto pit road in his self-owned car. They wrecked last week, so they brought a super speedway car here. Great interview with Pat Patterson this morning by B.J., but he's on pit road early. All right, Bubba Wallace to the outside. Matt Kenseth racing for 23rd.
You can see right there how difficult it is for Matt Kenseth to actually keep those left side tires on the line on the bottom. He got there, but he couldn't keep it there, and it cost him a lot of time. And that's the risk that you take, Mike, is that, yes, there's speed when you hook that paint and the grip that's on the paint that gets created, as we see Christopher Bell going to the outside of Austin Dillon here. But if you miss that groove, if you miss that extra grip down there, you're going to lose about a half a second that lap.
Wow. Ryan Blaney rim riding on Jimmy Johnson. That's for 12th place.
You know, Mike, you asked me about all those sets of tires. We've run 7 laps. The pace has already slowed down a full second.
And you saw right there, Larry, I mean, these guys are searching for grip. They're searching all over this racetrack, trying to be really patient to get to the bottom. You saw right there with Brian Blaney. He went into the corner in turn 3, was out of the throttle nice and easy, and still could not keep it on the bottom. Slid up the racetrack. Jimmy Johnson went back by.
Remember, this is a 25-lap sprint. That's the distance to the competition caution, as Tyler Reddick guns it for 13th.
And that was very costly for Ryan Blaney as he missed that bottom lane in 3 and 4. He's now lost 2 positions, might lose some more, but he's lost a lot of momentum.
Kurt Busch hoping nobody gets lapped before the competition yellow. He can get back up on the lead lap. Hometown boy Chase Elliott, NASCAR's most popular driver, leading his first ever laps in the Cup Series here. The Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 is sponsored by Toyota and by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. 14 laps complete in Atlanta. If there was a hometown crowd here, they'd be cheering Chase Elliott, leading his first Cup Series laps at Atlanta. 14 complete, and he has led them all.
You see Chase Elliott leading this race and hooking that red and white line around the bottom. I promise you that is not easy to do. Let's watch. You see Bubba Wallace get a little shove from John Hunter Nemechek into turn 3. He hooks the line perfectly, but right there in the middle there's a bump, and it looked like it maybe loaded the front tire and unloaded the rear, and he almost got sideways. Let's watch Clint Boyer do it. Same area, almost the exact same thing. That paint, it's about 12 inches wide, maybe 13 inches wide, about the same width as the tire itself.
Well, help me here. Why does the left front like the line and the left rear doesn't?
Yeah, well, you want to get that left rear. Remember, the cars are in yaw. I mean, they are sliding through the corners ever so slightly. So there you go. That's showing you the width of that area. And it does vary around this racetrack, but that's the width that it's up on the banking. You'll see drivers actually drive below the banking onto the apron to try to find some grip, because as the rubber lays down on that red and white painted stripe, it will add grip to it.
Now here comes Eric Almirola looking for second place from Joey Logano. And
There's a
Ryan
battle.
Newman moving up to 15th.
Yeah, this is a battle that's been going back and forth the last few laps. And look at them moving up the racetrack down in turns 3 and 4 as rubber starting to lay into this racetrack all the way to the fence.
Kevin Harvick started 9th, picked up 3 quickly. Here he is in 6th place, Jamie.
Moving forward right now, and I talked to Rodney Childers this morning. He told me after the Xfinity race yesterday, he talked to their teammate, Chase Briscoe, his crew chief, and he reminded him these new tires, that is the same tire in both series, have a lot more stagger than last year. So Rodney took that information and tightened the car up this morning. So what's Kevin saying now? Car is too tight.
Let's go for a ride and listen along.
Cannot ride with a driver that does it better, and that's why Kevin Harvick has led so many laps of this track. You listen to how he doesn't get all the way out of the throttle. I don't think anybody does it any smoother than Kevin Harvick, of transitioning out of the throttle, using the brake at the same time, setting that car gently into the racetrack and just getting to the line in the perfect spot as he goes by Kyle Busch. I mean, you saw what happened with the 2-car Brad Keselowski right in front of him as we were on board. Brad just came off that line in the tiniest bit, and Kevin was patient to just wait to stay on that line longer before he picked up the throttle, and he shot by Brad Keselowski. That's a beautiful thing to watch, and for me as a competitor to listen to. and I could watch it over and over and over and not duplicate it.
All right, we're 4 laps from the competition caution. Chase Elliott has led them all. And Kurt Busch has been working hard to be the first car on the lead lap, and he was until just now. J.J. Yaley's gone a lap down. So Kurt's going to have to hustle if he's going to get the free pass at the competition caution. This is the most laps an Elliott has led at Atlanta since your debut in 1992. Bill led 102 that day.
Did he? Yeah, that was quite a day. A lot of history made that day.
So Kurt Busch is going to have to get past J.J. Yaley and Josh Bilicki now to be the first car 1 lap down. There they are. Mission accomplished right there with 2.5 laps to go in this opening stint. So Kurt Busch has pretty much undone the penalty for failing inspection 3 times, having to start at the rear and do a pass through down pit road on what was everybody else's green flag lap.
Well, and Mike, also he's built some confidence in his race car because he has a good enough race car to drive up to 2nd place.
Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick working their way back to Eric Almirola in 2nd now.
Of course, when I mean second place in the running order, on the track, he knows he can compete with these guys once he gets back in once this competition caution comes out and he gets back with the field.
Jimmy Johnson taking 11th from Denny Hamlin, maybe here. Maybe not.
Well, and you can see how that momentum carries you from that top groove. Here goes Denny Hamlin to the high groove. It's a much longer lane, line around the racetrack, and you give up a lot of time in the middle and the entry of the corner. But look at what it does on the exit when that car gets the grip off that top, or if you miss the bottom. Look how much you can gain by watching what Denny Hamlin's doing in that top groove.
Nice shots from our Chevy onboard camera, riding with 7 time as he falls in line. And we should see the competition caution here. With 25 complete, the field cycles through.
Look at the competition caution.
And there it is. So Chase Elliott led all the first 25 laps. Daniel Suarez in 31st, the last car on the lead lap, and Kurt Busch will get the free pass. So all the teams will have a chance to check things over, and Larry gets to work out our Credible.com race strategy.
Well, go back to the race analysis, Mike. The fuel window is 58 to 62 laps. So if you look at the stage lengths of 105, 105, 115, all you'd have to make is 1 stop in each one of those stages. But remember the tire window, 30 to 40 laps. They have 13 sets of tires. Actually, what these teams will do, they'll probably split all the stages, even including this one where we've had the competition caution. You'll split them into thirds. Try to get full advantage of those 4 fresh tires each time.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, that fuel window is a lot further than you're going to want to go on tires. You can go that far, but you don't want to.
There's Alan Gustafson ready to go, not over the wall, but be at the wall. Remember, NASCAR still operating under reduced numbers of crewmen allowed at the track for each team. They must sign in early in the morning. They must be checked, temperature checked, and health checked, and then allowed to enter the facility and get ready to race. No practice, no qualifying. Line them up, let them rip.
Yeah, and a lot of people on pit road doing jobs they've never done before, like crew chief Alan Gustafson, several others doing that same thing as they hit pit road.
Jamie?
And Chase Elliott, we saw his crew chief pulling the tire, also his engineer in the front. You see Alan Gustafson reaching. Alan told me he actually really enjoys this. It's been a bonding experience for the pit crew team, all working together. Chase saying he wants it in the track a little bit loose. The track bar adjustment, 4 tires there for the 9.
And that's something else. This track is going to change a lot. Got to be really careful making too many adjustments here early. You don't want to get behind the racetrack and the adjustments, but boy, you got to be careful because it is going to swing a totally different direction here.
Joey Logano and Kyle Busch win the race off pit road. Kyle plus 3 positions. So 31 lead lap cars, including Daniel Suarez.
Have an ice cold Coke and buckle up. You are watching NASCAR on Fox.
The Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 is sponsored by Ford. Built Ford proud. The Ford's out in front at 29 laps here in Atlanta. Joey Logano after pit stops. Ride heights, and particularly where that splitter sits, always a big deal here at Atlanta. So where's the sweet spot for that front splitter?
Yeah, you can see as the air moves around the front nose of the car, that low pressure area and the distance to that splitter, very critical to hold around this racetrack. Too low, no downforce at all. Throwing darts at it. Get it just right, though. Oh, yeah. Target hit the sweet spot.
You know, I didn't have to deal with a front splitter my 18 years as a crew chief. I felt like I threw darts every single week.
All right. Ready to go. The Chevy Silverado makes the sharp left turn onto pit road. Here we go back to green at 30 laps complete.
Three wide by 3 wide by 3 wide. Ooh, one in the wall. William Byron. No, this might be either a loose wheel or tire issue, but he's coming to pit road. Yeah, he definitely made contact with that outside wall.
4th place. Martin Truex tried that high side right on the restart, but Kyle Busch is going to prevail and move up to 4th behind the Fords of Logano, Harvick, and Boyer.
You can see that contact between teammates Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. upset the car of the 18 car quite a bit. How about Tyler Reddick coming to the top groove and coming to the front in 6th position?
William Byron has a flat tire. He was running 14th. He'll lose a lap here. There it is on the lower right middle of your screen up against the wall, the 24.
Yeah, and it's hard to say, was there any contact? There were a lot of 3 wide racing going on in that restart. Did somebody make contact with him that cut the tire down? We've seen a lot of that this year already, but clearly he went into turn 3. William Byron in that 24 car, and it just goes up the racetrack. Pretty sure that's a right rear tire that's down. Of course, it could have been a left rear also.
And at these speeds, Jeff, lucky to get away with that little damage.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have every bit of side force and down force on the race car at this abrasive racetrack. You could see them spending some extra time on pit road to fix that damage.
Yeah, Jeff, it was a left rear tire that was down.
Yeah, so that tells me there was contact between between another car and himself that probably caused that left rear to go down.
So another early race issue for William Byron. As 4th place. Going to heat up here in a second. We have Boyer, Kyle Busch, and Martin Truex. As we've got Blaney, Bowman, and Stenhouse there.
It looks to me like the Stewart-Haas cars of Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick have good speed, but maybe they don't take off quite as fast. And we've seen that out of these cars in the past, even especially for Kevin Harvick, as many laps as he's led. Takes a little while for his car to come in. Right here, Clint Boyer having a little bit of a handful as the JGR Toyotas go by to the inside on Clint Boyer and make those passes.
Right behind these two and on the move, Tyler Reddick restarted 12th. He's up for 6th.
Yeah, he made a lot of gains early in this race, and that is continuing. He's continuing to show speed, Tyler Reddick.
And he is just ahead of the pair on the right, Keselowski and Elliott.
And I'm curious to watch. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm curious to watch the line that Reddick uses, because I think of this guy as one of those guys that puts it up on the fence and run and kind of rim rides against the fence. And you know, right now we saw he was working the bottom. Here goes a pass for the lead. Kevin Harvick to the bottom.
I can't tell if that inside line painted down at the bottom of the racetrack is his friend or not. He gets down there, the car hooks, and then it just wants to jump sideways.
Yeah, I mean, even when you hit it right, it's no easy thing to accomplish. But how about accomplishing this? Kevin Harvick just led his 10,000th lap, and that's just since he's been driving for Stewart-Haas Racing. Wow. 14,426 lap throughout his Cup Series career.
Now, since 2014, look at all the laps he has led.
And I'm sure if I'm Kevin Harvick, I'm looking at that stat going, yeah, I love those laps led, but I want more wins.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, that's 49% of the laps run at Atlanta Motor Speedway in those years.
Now here's second place. Truex coming to the front. Joey not able to run that bottom. You can see him. He's searching up high. Here's another pass. Here's Bowman coming up to 14. Remember this car, the 88 car of Alex Bowman, that car won at California. That is an abrasive racetrack, even though it's a lot different size as Atlanta Motor Speedway. But I'm going to put my eyes on him also to see, can he back up that performance that team had earlier in the year.
39 laps complete. Kevin Harvick out in front of Martin Truex by a full second. Chevy is committed to getting you back on the open road with confidence and peace of mind. Visit ChevyCares.com to learn more. 45 laps complete as you ride with Jimmy Johnson in 10th place. About 9 seconds off the lead, which is held by Kevin Harvick over Martin Truex and Kyle Busch.
It's a good thing these drivers are in shape, especially Jimmy Johnson, as much as he focuses on fitness, because these drivers are going to be worn out. You saw a shot of Jimmy Johnson holding the steering wheel and how much he's working that steering wheel through these corners, through these bumps. Let's look at, we talked about the front splitter. Now, obviously, on the straightaway, you're going to have air pushing the rear of the spoiler down, maybe even trying to lift the front of the car up. But there's as you go into the banking and it compresses into the corner, you can see there's a bump for Jimmy Johnson as he goes over that bump. And it just shows you how these teams have to really map that out of how much it's going to compress and how it gains that travel into the corners. And then how it has to get over these bumps and still create good downforce and a good platform.
And Jeff, that didn't look like much, but every time that comes up, the car loses a ton of front downforce, a ton of front grip of the tires.
Well, Tyler Reddick isn't losing anything. In fact, he just keeps marching to the front. Here he is underneath Chase Elliott.
Now here's an example. Chase Elliott goes to the bottom as Tyler Reddick up top. Now Chase Elliott, he was almost left side tires to the apron. He was so low, but he talked about being loose, and right there you saw that car get loose on him right there. Now here's Kevin down at the other end of the racetrack. What I find with Kevin is when he misses it, instead of staying in the throttle, he just waits. He's more patient of holding those left side tires, both the left front and the left rear, below that line, almost on the apron, and is just very patient with the car before he picks up the throttle.
Tyler Reddick tries it again as they split Josh Bilicki ahead, cars 7, 8, and 9 in frame right there. And is he going to complete the pass? Not quite. Jamie.
Quite a battle for the 8, Tyler Reddick. The rookie started 24th. He's working his way right now for 7th, battling for 7th. But Tyler's saying he's having a little bit of trouble on the exit of 2. He needs to work on that, make up some time there. And you guys mentioned the bumps. He said he's snapping loose in turn 4 over those bumps, trying to figure it out. But he's got his hands full of Chase Elliott.
Sure does. And they've got Brad Keselowski moving in. How about Kurt Busch? He got the free pass on the competition caution, and he has made the most of it. That would have put him 31st. Well, he has climbed up to 15th right now since the restart. Here are USAA biggest movers, including Busch and Reddick, the 1 and the 9.
Plus 17, Mike.
Or the 1 and the 8, excuse me.
Plus 17 for Kurt Busch. I could promise you a little frustration in there, right, of what happened before this race started and having the issues in inspection, then having to fight back to get back onto the lead lap. He knows he has a fast race car, and that's what's driving Kurt Busch right now through this field.
And Larry, if you miss it in inspection and you don't pass inspection, is it often that you adjust one thing to get it back in tolerance and that puts something else out of tolerance?
I think that happens more often than not, Mike. And again, we're not talking about 1/8 and 1/4 inches. We're talking about thousandths. And you know, they're pushing it right to the envelope on everything about that car. So yeah, you adjust one thing to make it right, you can certainly get another out of kilter. And I think that's what happens on a pretty regular basis.
Now, this is interesting watching Martin Truex Jr., who's in second place, running pretty equal lap times to our leader, Kevin Harvick. He's running a different line. Down here in 3 and 4, about the same thing as Kevin Harvick is doing a nice job. Probably learning a lot watching Kevin Harvick, how he's hooking that line. Even as many laps as Truex has made here, you're always learning from other racers. But when you go down into turn 1 and 2, as we're about to enter, watch what Truex does different here. Now, of course, this time he goes right around the bottom because he had to pass that lap car. But the time before that, I loved how he was searching around the racetrack. He moved up the track, and I hear that he's maybe trying to conserve tires because he feels how much they're falling off.
7th place now. Reddick, Keselowski, Chase Elliott up ahead of them. And Keselowski completes the pass. Let's have a look at Kevin Harvick here.
Now, if I had to guess, there's probably a duct that's pushing air inside the car that he's putting his hand up and maybe just getting feeling a little bit of that cool air. It's hot and humid in Atlanta today.
Kevin Harvick is your leader. Now that's no surprise over Martin Truex, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, and Clint Bowyer. Harvick out front. Since 1960, one of America's great race places, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick is your leader. Now, we're racing later and warmer in the year than usual, and stage 1 is 20 laps longer than last year. And look at that temperature, 85 degrees. We don't have the humidity, but it's high.
And Mike, yeah, the track's slicker and it's hotter inside this race car from what these drivers are used to. They're used to working hard, but in much cooler conditions, Larry.
Yeah, and as a crew chief at a high-speed track, we're trying to do everything we can to keep air from going in the car, because the more you can keep that from happening, it helps the drag of the car. So let's use our Ford cutaway car to show you what they're actually doing. You see right here, this is a NACA duct, and you see these hoses run in there, and right there is where Kevin was holding his hand up. And what's good about a NACA duct, it puts air inside the car, Mike and Jeff, but it doesn't really hurt the drag or the straightaway speed that much.
Now, Jeff, I'd imagine it's not so important for your hand to be cool as it is for it to be dry. You're gonna sweat a lot in this heat and humidity.
Yeah, especially these guys working as hard as they are. Kevin Harvick, those hands are so important in that grip, in the way that you hold the steering wheel and the feel that you have. And when your hands are sweating, that glove is sliding, that steering wheel sliding. And so obviously, that's a feel that Kevin goes after, and he puts, I think this is something he does fairly common when things start to get hot, that he holds his hand up to cool it down.
Ryan Blaney up for 12th. Looking back from our Advanced Auto Parts cam at Eric Almirola, who's going to try to repass. Place battle here behind Eric Jones. Larry Mack, I know you got plenty of fuel, but how about those tires?
Well, Mike, we went back racing at lap 30, so that's 75 laps to go in stage 1. Again, remember what I said earlier. I think what some of they may do is split this in half. So I look within the next 4 to 5, maybe 6 laps, they'll start hitting pit road. And once one driver comes, you can't afford to stay out there because you're going to be giving up about 2 to 2.5 seconds per lap to those older tires.
Kurt Busch up to 13th now, recovering from that penalty. Thanks, Larry. Quinn Houff has already been on pit road. He is 3 down. And to update William Byron, who's now 7 laps down, they said they had an issue on the competition caution pit stop and damaged the valve stem on the left rear tire.
Yeah, we see this happen from time to time as the 6 car Ryan Newman hits pit road, one of the first cars to show the rest of the field what those fresh 4 Goodyear tires. Also a little damage to the right side, so that may have weighed into the decision of the 6 car being on pit road early. But yeah, Mike, it's easy as they drop the jack, as others come to pit road, for that tire to spin slightly as the tire change is pulling that gun back and can hit that valve stem very easily to knock it off and take all the air out of that tire.
Blaney on the right is on pit road. Harvick is coming. Martin Truex assumes the lead from Harvick. Jamie.
How about an attaboy to the pit crew for Kevin Harvick, fastest in 2020 so far, averaging 13.8 seconds, saying the car is pretty good. He was a little snug on the first run, but then he got the lead. He's been good in clean air. You see the 88 of Alex Bowman in as well.
Green flag stops at lap 66. Most of the lead lap cars are either in their pit box or coming to pit road now. Ryan Newman, too fast entering.
Well, I was just going to say, Mike, you know, another thing these drivers haven't had the chance to practice is entering pit road on hot, slick tires.
Brad Keselowski, 4 fresh Goodyears. Full tank of gas. Matt DiBenedetto the same. Truex now leading from Kyle Busch, and Kurt Busch in the pit stop cycle is now up to 3rd. Brad Keselowski, too fast entering. So under green, pass-through penalty. All right, Truex and Kyle Busch give it up and come to pit road. Jamie.
Well, it's surprising when you look at Truex's record on 1.5 tracks. He has never won in Atlanta, and he hasn't won in 2020 either. Parks it a little bit sideways in his box. They just asked him for an update, and he said, I'm good. He didn't have any suggestions for changing. It's a 4-tire stop as Kyle Busch's crew goes to work.
Well, Mark Truex Jr. sideways in that pit box had a difficult time getting around the car that was pitted behind them.
So Chase Elliott is unlapping himself from race leader Kurt Busch from worst to first in 68 laps. How about that?
The words right out of my mouth, Mike. And now Kurt Busch has come to pit road.
So that should cycle Kevin Harvick back to the lead, and he's going to have a 3.5 second advantage on Truex as you watch Brad Keselowski serve his penalty. Harvick had only about a 0.5 second lead before pit stops and 7 seconds to the 3rd place car. Now he's going to have a lead of almost 4 seconds and a larger gap to 3rd.
And that's all that is 2 laps, Mike. 2 extra laps that Mark Truex was out on the racetrack with older tires versus Kevin Harvick coming in and getting 4 fresh Goodyears. Now the hope, right, if you're the 19 of Mark Truex Jr. and James Small, his crew chief, that strategy call, will you make up that time now that you have a little bit fresher tires, and if you can go all the way to the end of this stage 1?
Kevin Harvick's done the driving. Crew chief Rodney Childers and his team put him out front by a wider margin here at lap 70.
Wednesday night on FS1. NASCAR Cup Series racing is live from Martinsville.
This place is tough.
Whoa, no!
Under the lights in prime time.
I'm looking at the finish line.
The Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500. Live Wednesday at 7 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
74 laps complete in Atlanta. That's Kevin Harvick disappearing off into the distance. So imagine the surface here as the grill, and it's 128 degrees on that surface, and those are the tires that just came off, looks like Clint Boyer's car, perhaps. I saw 14 there on the sidewall. So talk about tire wear here.
Well, this track grinds those tires. It's so abrasive. The rocks are sticking up. Yeah, that makes up this track, and it's like a cheese grater. I'm not sure how you like your cheese grated, Mike, on your nachos.
That's a Wisconsin thing. Larry, that's nacho cheese.
You've got animations. I have the real deal here. It's like a cheese grater. Just grinds that rubber off. I mean, every lap around this racetrack, it just peels the rubber off. I used to tell my guys, don't even roll the tires to the car. Carry them over there.
I can't wait to see that on your expense report. Hey, Eric Almirola, unscheduled stop here. 29 to go in the stage.
And so if you think about the cheese grater that Larry Mack was just showing us there, the more pressure you put on that, the more it's going to tear that rubber off the tire. So think about that. If you're driving faster through the corner and you're pushing that tire into the racetrack harder, it's only going to grind that tire that much more. So you got to be careful how you manage those first early laps of these runs, because if you push too hard, you could fade a lot further back into the field on the long run.
So Harvick 2 seconds up on Martin Truex and 10 up on Clint Boyer, with 20 cars on the lead lap. Before today's race, Jamie Little spoke with Coca-Cola Racing family driver Daniel Suarez.
There are events much bigger than racing happening in our country right now. One of the first drivers to speak out about it since the death of George Floyd was Daniel Suarez. And Daniel, since you've looked around the last few days, where have you seen signs of hope?
Well, Jamie, I really take this very, very serious. I hate seeing these things. That's just the way I am. And you know me, I'm not the kind of person I'm going to be quiet about it. It really hurts a lot to see these situations. Obviously, we're in the 21st century, and this shouldn't happen anymore. And obviously, we've seen just a little bit of what is actually happening in the world and in the country. Not every person has a cell phone on hand to be filming everything that is going on, and I just can't tolerate Black community, Asian community, Muslim community, Latin community to be suffering like this. It's not fair. I feel like it's really, really time for a change. We have to work together on this. In today's world, being not racist is not enough. That's not enough, because there is millions of people in this country that are not racist, but maybe they don't feel like they're in the position where they have to push. And the reality is that if we let the Black community and all these communities to work on this by themselves, never the change is going to happen. So we have to work together. We have to be anti-racist to be able to help them and to help together and work together to make a better world and a better country for everyone. That's what we have to do. And obviously, I'm very proud to be Mexican. All these people, Black community, Asian community, they have to be proud to have a different skin color and to come from different places. That's what it's all about. So just, we have to work together, push in the same direction, and really make a change. Obviously, for today's race, we have a very nice paint scheme with Coca-Cola. As you know, Coca-Cola is always supporting different programs around the world, in the country, and this time obviously is no exception. They're donating $2.5 million in grant for the Coca-Cola Foundation, and also matching the employees' donations. So super proud to be part of this program with them, and I really, really hope that together we'll really make a change.
Thank you, Daniel.
Well said, Daniel Suarez. At 82 laps, 243 to go, Kevin Harvick leading. Looking at Bubba Wallace, who is 17th. Behind him, Matt DiBenedetto, Cole Custer, and Austin Dillon has just gone a lap down the 20th place car. Bubba Wallace was on Dale Jr.'s podcast this week, the Dirty Mo podcast. You can listen to that. Great conversation. And also on Instagram, Ty Dillon and Bubba had a tremendous conversation. Watched both of those, listened, learned a lot, and you will too.
That was a great moment for our sport, that conversation that these two individuals had and shared with the public.
Ty Dillon 22nd and just off the lead lap. By a car or two here. Chris Buescher ahead of him, and his older brother Austin is the first car, one lap down. Eric Almirola made that unscheduled pit stop for a loose wheel, and that's taken the number 10 off the lead lap, but he is just one lap down, going around Matt Kenseth there, who is on the lead lap in the 42.
How about this lead up front here, Mike? We've seen these fresher tires on the 19 Martin Truex Jr. He's not saving tires anymore. He has really closed this gap from over 4 seconds behind our leader, Kevin Harvick, now within just a few tenths.
You know, even though he has those 2 laps fresher on the tires, you know, there's a point that it definitely equalizes out. But I think we might be seeing it's so, Jeff, you know this, it's so dependent on how hard you run it at the beginning of a run. That's going to be the life of those tires.
Lead change, Martin Truex to the front. And now, Harvick, I don't think Harvick slowed down. He's still 11 seconds up on the 3rd place car, but Truex right now is a rocket.
Well, he is, and I think Kevin's maybe used up his tires a little bit, but he's been missing that bottom line, which is uncharacteristic of Kevin Harvick. Let's ride on board here with Kevin as he's trying to hook that white and red line there. And you see the 19 of Truex has found something in that top groove, and that's where he made that pass happen. Kevin Harvick slipped up. Truex had the momentum and made that pass down the back straightaway.
But Jeff, we heard earlier where Truex was running a little easier at the beginning of the run. I think that's paying dividends now.
18 laps to go in stage 1. You won't miss a minute. We're going to take you Fox side by side.
NASCAR is live on FS1.
We're going to go racing. We're going to crank it up for you on Fox.
The Cup Series. Xfinity Series.
Stick to the plan, have fun today.
And Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series.
Another lead change.
All live.
2 laps to go.
Plus, get your daily inside track on everything NASCAR with Race Hub. NASCAR is live on FS1.
To all the social distancers, suddenly homeschoolers, and living room exercisers, we've got you covered. Right now, get Pizza Hut's best delivery deal. Large pizzas with up to 3 toppings for just $9.99. Choose contactless delivery or new curbside pickup at pizzahut.com.
Friday Night SmackDown is all new.
You gotta be kidding me!
All the action.
And here we go!
The drama.
Oh my God!
The superstars. All new Friday Night SmackDown, sponsored by Progressive at 8 Eastern on Fox.
I am the future, and I am now. I am going to make sure my name will be the one you'll remember forever. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
91 laps complete here in Atlanta. Martin Truex, the race leader, drawing a bead on Bubba Wallace, the 17th place car. Let's go back and revisit that pass for the lead, and we'll call it today's Tide Clean Pass.
This is Kevin Harvick, our leader, coming off of turn 2. Lost a lot of speed off that corner, and the 19 of Mark Truex Jr. gained a lot of speed using that top groove. Makes the pass nice and clean and easy into turns 3 and 4. Man, I can't really see where Kevin Harvick made any mistake or got off the bottom a whole lot. It just looked like Mark Truex Jr. got a lot more grip right now on that top groove.
That's your tied clean pass. Here's Jamie on the 4.
And Kevin Harvick has led 46 laps today, and he just radioed to his team and told Rodney Childers after he got passed, he said, I think that was a bad adjustment. In fact, I think it made me worse. So his car kind of going away, and Truex is the opposite in the 19. The car has been really good.
Yeah. Well, you think Kevin could have radioed in and told Rodney happy birthday. He's 44 today. Maybe he did it in pre-race.
No, he just wants to bring home a trophy for his birthday, but up until then, it's going to be all business.
Martin Truex taking a while to get past Bubba Wallace here, and now makes the pass on the outside.
Oh, we got a spin. John Hunter Nemechek goes around coming off of turn 4.
And who had the lucky rabbit's foot? Bubba Wallace. He's the free pass car. That'll be only the second caution flag of the day. Nemechek was 25th.
It was out of control as I've seen a lot of these cars. I'm surprised we haven't seen this happen sooner. Oh yeah, you could see it actually started way back in the middle of the corner as John Hunter Nemechek was not able to be right on the paint. Oh yeah, he just gets up about not even a full half car length in. And the car comes around. He also didn't have a lot of air coming to the front and over the car to create downforce because there was a car right in front of him.
All right, so you rode with Chase Elliott there. How do you know if that car is going to slide up the track or come down the track?
Yeah, I mean, you really just have to, slow down, but you can't jump on the brakes or you start locking up the tires. You're going really fast. But you look at how fast or slow they spin. If they're spinning slow, usually they're going to go down to the bottom. If they're spinning quickly, they're going to go up to the wall.
All right, hold the phone. This just in. Matt DiBenedetto is the free pass car because Martin Truex had just lapped him just prior to the last scoring loop before the caution flag. DiBenedetto was in 18th, and Bubba is still on the lead lap. Got back out front
I think
there.
He was actually ahead of our leader when the caution came out.
Yes, and look who's on pit road.
There might only be 10 laps to go in this stage, but you want fresh rubber.
Yeah, I don't understand anybody staying out right there whatsoever.
So 17 lead lap cars plus DiBenedetto. And again, Bubba Wallace was ahead of Martin Truex, so DiBenedetto the free pass car. Four fresh tires for everybody, it looks like, and here's the Ram race off pit road. Truex Harvick, not by much. And 4 tires for everybody. Jimmy Johnson picks up 2 spots. Here's how close it was at the timing line. That's close.
Ooh, yes, it is.
Lining up for the restart. Looks like a lot of cars took the wave around as we're 12 laps from the end of this stage. Now watch Tyler Reddick, the blue and white car, Eric Jones in yellow right behind him, and Denny Hamlin to the outside.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick's going to make an evasive turn to the left here, maybe just seeing his pit stall, and Eric Jones has to make a move to avoid him, and that sends his teammate Denny Hamlin out into the grass. No contact between the 20 of Jones and the 11 of Denny Hamlin, but sometimes you could pick up grass on that grill, on that front grill that puts, the air, allows the air to go into the radiator. So I'm sure that team had to check that on pit road.
So half the field roughly waved around, and about 10 of them got back onto the lead lap. With now just 7 laps to go in this stage. And a bunch of others picked up one of the laps that they were down. We're going to listen to Clint Boyer's team and spotter Brett Griffin on the restart. Boyer restarts third behind Truex and Harvick. Here we go.
Green. Two by two only. Stay on low. Inside. All clear right on your bumper. Still all clear. Looking low. All clear. All clear. All clear. All clear. All clear. About two driving away. 1.5. Small run coming. One back. Half back. Quarter back. Staying quarter. Right on your bumper. Looking high. Outside bumper. Outside real tight. Outside. You and him right there. Two back to the 4.
Boyer and Kyle Busch battle for second behind Truex.
Well, that's some great action there on the restart. So hard not to spin your tires, and when you're on that front row, it's easy for those cars behind you to just roll up with maybe a half a mile per hour faster speed, and they can get right to your bumpers. We're 3 wide now going into turn 3. Denny Hamlin locked in the inside. Here comes Stenhouse to the inside. Tyler Reddick.
Stenhouse wants those stage points from the inside. He gets Reddick, and so does Hamlin. Now Chase Elliott, and look at Chase Elliott and Joey Logano. Those two just can't get away from each other. Jimmy Johnson, the 48, in position to get the final stage point. With 4 to go. Fourth place.
20 of Eric Jones trying to make a move on Kevin Harvick for 4th place. He's going to end up losing 3 spots. You see the back of that car slide out coming off of turn 4.
And Stenhouse keeps coming. Oh, now he and Tyler Reddick going to battle it out side by side. As you watch Jones from Johnson. 5th through 10th, all under a blanket here in the closing laps of stage 1.
Yeah, no saving tires, Mike. They know they're going to the end of this stage. They're going to put 4 fresh Goodyears on. So battle it out. Go for it.
Now here's what's at stake here. The starting lineup next week is set by owner points. If you're in the top dozen, you get to pick in the first wave. If you're 13th, you have to pick in the second wave. So how you leave this race in points might determine whether you start first or 24th. As Jones powers around Johnson for 8th.
Joey Logano with a power move to the inside. Going to bring along Christopher Bell as they go by Tyler Reddick.
Great battling as stage 1 draws to a close. 4th place here.
Well, those Toyotas are looking good there at Joe Gibbs Racing. Truex is first, Kyle Busch second. Now Hamlin goes by Harvick for 4th. Of course, don't forget our buddy Clint Boyer there in 3rd place.
Martin Truex, who was the king of stage racing when it was introduced, has never won a stage at Atlanta. He has never won a stage this year, and all that just changed. Martin Truex, by 0.3 of a second over Kyle Busch, wins stage 1. Boyer, Hamlin, Harvick the top 5. And Martin Truex has his first stage win of 2020. The Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 is sponsored by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR, perfect for race fans. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. End of stage 1, Martin Truex Jr., your stage 1 winner. But on this week's Friday Night SmackDown, Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles meet in a dream matchup in the finals of the Intercontinental Championship Tournament. You can catch both Daniel and AJ as they'll be the Grand Marshals of the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500 from Martinsville Wednesday on FS1. 7 p.m. Eastern, just 2 days before they meet for the championship. Pit road's going to be open. We gave you the top 5 as we went to break. 6 through 10 earning stage points. Chase Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse, Eric Jones, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney. I bet some of those wave-around drivers are just crying for tires now.
Yeah, that caution was perfect for them.
So now we're back up to 28 cars on the lead lap, plus John Hunter Nemechek, the free pass car. Jamie.
Kevin Harvick again. Of course, he didn't like that last adjustment. He said he got just a little bit loose at one point. The 18 is in, but also the 14 of Clint Boyer. They tried to make a wedge adjustment on the last stop, and the wedge wrench dropped out, so they couldn't get that adjustment. He's a little snug, but been running top 5 all race, guys.
Well, one thing I see there, Jeff, is a lot of drivers are now stopping very shallow in the box if they can, because there's been difficulty getting out. And how about Clint Boyer picking up 2 spots to take the lead?
Let's say we dial up our stage winner there, Martin Truex Jr. Hey, Martin, this is Jeff and Mike in the Fox Sports Studios. You got us?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, man, you are the king of stage wins, more wins in stages than any other drivers in past years. I couldn't believe it when I saw the stat. This is your first stage win of this season. Man, you've got a fast hot rod.
Yeah, so far so good. Auto owner Stamper's really strong. Obviously a long race. I got a lot of things to work through yet, but I'm really proud of everybody, you know, and having no practice at a place like this is tough. So the guys did a great job there. Finally got a stage win this year. It's been we've kind of been a snake pit, I feel like, this year, but the guys have been bringing awesome race cars. It's been showing here lately, so hopefully we can keep it up.
All right, looking good. Keep it up. Thank you.
Hey, buddy, no problem.
Martin Truex's fastest lap of the race came just 4 laps before the end of stage 1. The Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And by Pizza Hut. Order today at pizzahut.com. We want to thank all the military families that have been tuning in and tweeting, honoring today's Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500, and remembering those who served and those we've lost. So today at lap 113, we'll have a special remembrance. We're at 111 laps complete. About to go green for stage number 2. Clint Boyer, Martin Truex. The field lined up behind them on the back straightaway. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, row 2. Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, the 3rd row. Jimmy Johnson, Eric Jones, and Joey Logano has made an extra pit stop to fix right side damage that he got exiting the pits.
Well, we talked about how small these pit boxes are. Well, there's been a lot of action trying to get in and out of those pit boxes on pit road today also.
They're saying he may have made contact with Matt Kenseth's car. So this will begin the run for stage 2, also 105 laps long. And here they come to the Geico restart zone.
Your bumper tandem. Outside 19. Outside. Clear high if you need it. Clear high if you need it. You're driving away from both of them. All clear. No pressure. Bottom's going to have the momentum coming back now. Top's got the momentum. 2 back to the top. 1 back. Half back. Quarter back. Coming outside.
Martin Truex on the outside. From Clint Boyer, we complete 113 laps. For each of the past 5 races in Atlanta, Atlanta Motor Speedway and Folds of Honor have provided fans with a folded paper flag to hold up on the 13th lap of the race. 13 is symbolic. It represents the 13 original colonies and the 13 folds of a folded flag. Today, fans have been posting their flags to show honor and respect, and we salute all of them here at lap 113. The fight for clean air.
Oh, yeah. Well, both of these guys have it because you got Mark Truex Jr. on the outside with the clean air. Clint Boyer battling on that inside lane. But you're right, Mike. They do not want to give up that clean air, so this battle continues on. I think Clint Boyer's going to have the advantage now on the bottom groove. You see Truex was able to hold his own on that outside for the first couple laps, but as those tires start to lose grip each lap, the bottom groove was the place to be. Jamie?
On that last stop for Clint Boyer, they added a little tape on the nose and made an air pressure adjustment, but Boyer's saying he doesn't have the grip that he feels like the guys around him have.
Boyer really sent it into turn 3, trying to establish that lead, and he did. Hamlin now ahead of Chase Elliott for 3rd. Hamlin a bottom feeder, and Chase up there rim riding.
Well, like you said, Mike, looking for that clean air. You know, if you go and follow Denny Hamlin to the bottom of this racetrack, you're going to lose a lot of downforce. So Chase is choosing to move up the racetrack, straddle one of those seams that make up the different lanes. Tires get on those seams, lose a lot of grip there, so you see him straddling it, but getting that clean air and carry the momentum off the top groove.
All right, Boyer, your leader, Truex, Hamlin, Elliott, and Kyle Busch has been hanging around the top 5 most of the day here, Larry. Let's take a look at the right combination, sponsored by Subway.
Yeah, we're going to focus on that 18 car of Joe Gibbs Racing, driver Kyle Busch and crew chief Adam Stevens. This is their 6th season together in Cup. They've already won 2 championships together, 2015, 2019, 27 Cup wins together as a duo. And here's a little Larry McNugget on Kyle Busch before Adam Stevens joined him. Kyle's first win with Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota's first Cup win was right here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the spring of 2008. So Kyle and Adam, they hope they can find the Subway right combination to get Kyle his 3rd Atlanta win.
Well, he comes in here 8th in points, Larry. That's kind of an un-Kyle-like start to the season, isn't it?
Well, it is. But one thing I'm seeing, Mike, is the Joe Gibbs Toyota drivers, they look like they are coming to life, because right now I'm looking at all 4 of them in the top 10. It's like they just keep kind of creeping up on everybody else right now.
And Larry, I find something interesting here today is we've seen these Joe Gibbs Toyotas be very fast here, and 3 of them in the top 5. This track is all corners. We talk about how abrasive it is, how much the tires fall off. This track has bigger corners than about any other mile-and-a-half we go to, and these teams have talked about, the Toyota teams talked about lacking speed. Well, they're not lacking speed in the corners today.
Oh, that's for sure. Last Toyota win here, 2013, 7 years ago. Boyer and Truex have a full second on Chase Elliott in 3rd.
And we heard Jamie talk about in that report on Clint Boyer about his car just not having the grip that some of those around him, as we see the battle for 9th place here. Eric Jones, Ryan Blaney. But Clint Boyer has clean air right now, and I'd love to hear what he's saying about his race car, because that clean air is going to give him the grip he's been looking for. Jones goes by Blaney and looking out the rear bumper to Alex Bowman.
Clint Boyer from our DeKalb Corn Cam. I'll bet he's not talking to his crew. He's probably sitting in there singing country songs.
Wednesday night on FS1. NASCAR Cup Series racing is live from Martinsville.
This place is tough.
Under the lights in prime time.
I'm looking at the finish line.
The Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500, live Wednesday at 7 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Doesn't get any cuter than that.
Nope, we'll be watching. All right.
She's going to be smiling right now.
Yes. Daddy's out front by 1 second over Martin Truex. 2.3 over Chase Elliott. 2.7 over Denny Hamlin.
And it's not easy.
No.
Even when you're out front in that clean air, you see Clint Boyer, the back end, stepped out quite a bit through 1 and 2.
9th place, Eric Jones, Alex Bowman.
Yeah, this is a battle. It's been going back and forth the last few laps.
And just in front of them, the free pass car from the last caution. Matt DiBenedetto's made the most of that in the 21.
He sure has. Great run for he and that team, Wood Brothers.
And right behind that group, Kurt Busch in the 1 coming into play here. After using a free pass to get himself back on the lead lap after being under penalty for failing inspection 3 times in pre-race.
I really feel like this is a type of track that really suits Kurt Busch's driving style. I would not be surprised if you see that one Monster Energy Chevrolet continue to march his way to the front.
Biggest car on the move since the restart. Christopher Bell has now picked up 10 positions from 26th to 16th. Nice hot steamy Atlanta day. Oh, I'd say it's about time at lap 129 to crank it up.
Ooh, let's do it.
135 laps complete. I wonder, when Brad Keselowski and Jeremy Bullins go out in public now, do they wear a mask like we do, or do they wear one that kind of covers their whole face except for their eyes because they're going to hold up another race? They've stolen 2 recently. Done a great job of it.
Hey, I always say, you know, if you want to have good luck, you put yourself in the right position. Take advantage of maybe others' bad luck.
Right.
A competitor will take it any way you can get it. And listen, those wins were important to Brad Keselowski and Jeremy Bullins in that combination. And now that'll give them the confidence that, all right, we get the car right, we can put ourselves in position to get more of those.
Yeah, Jeff, Richard Childress always told me luck in racing is when preparation meets an opportunity.
There you are.
So true.
On a Coca-Cola camera for Daniel Suarez.
And a timely caution, Larry.
I'm not giving you the trends this early.
No.
No, not ready for it yet.
Jamie?
Well, you guys have mentioned Eric Jones coming off of one of his best finishes of the year, 5th at Bristol. He's had some issues here today, even though he holds it in 9th position right now. He's had some problems with his throttle sticking in stage 1. Then it seemed like it kind of went away, and now he's saying he feels it again. He told his crew chief, Chris Gale, and Chris said, we cannot fix it at this point. Let's wait for fewer cars on the lead lap so we don't lose so much position. But I can't imagine, Jeff, being a driver, knowing your throttle's sticking, but yet trying to hang on in 10th.
Well, especially at this track, because this track, we already heard Clint Boyer talk about it's like there's an egg underneath that throttle pedal. So if it's sticking, it's so hard to run smooth around this racetrack, especially on that bottom groove like Harvick does.
His teammate Kyle Busch trying to make a move on Kevin Harvick here for 5th, and his other teammate Denny Hamlin here caught Chase Elliott behind the slower car of Quinn Houff, and Hamlin pounced.
Well, yeah, Quinn Houff just not sure where Chase Elliott was going to go. Chase Elliott didn't know where Quinn Houff was going to go as it came down that straightaway. I think Chase Elliott was expecting to go to the outside. Quinn Houff moved up right in front of him. He had to check up, and that momentum being shifted like that allowed Denny Hamlin to go on by.
Jeff, all I'd ask of a lapped car or a car about to be lapped, hold your line, be predictable, don't surprise me.
Yeah, and maybe that was the line he ran the last time, but they came up on him so fast, you know, that I don't know if Chase Elliott knew which line he was actually running.
If that's his line, I'm going to get another rod and reel and throw a different one in the water. All right, we're going to take a break here, so we'll be back for green flag pit stops. Clint Boyer eking a little more lead away from Martin Truex. Throughout history, Atlanta Motor Speedway has been a place where getting onto pit road, getting in and out of your pits, very, very tricky. Short pit boxes. No margin for error. And Larry, green flag pit stops in the offing?
Well, remember what we talked about with our Credible.com race strategy about splitting this stage into thirds. That window is open to pit right about lap 145. Then you would pit again lap 175, and there the leader, Clint Boyer, in. So they're splitting this in thirds. So once he's hit pit road, Mike, like a while ago, you cannot be far behind.
Martin Truex stays out, takes over the lead from his teammate Denny Hamlin. Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, as Boyer makes his way to his stall.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, is how long the 19 stays out. Jamie?
Yeah, and when Boyer was just bringing it in, he was talking about his right rear. He said, I think it might be the right rear, so he may have felt something. I'll go down and check that tire out that they just took off. You can see him looking at it there. But a 4-tire stop for Boyer, who brought it in from the lead.
Yeah, as soon as Jamie said that, I heard something flapping and hitting the quarter panel. Maybe it's the right rear tire right as Clint Boyer hit pit road. So I don't know if that's what brought him in, or if he just got really lucky and then it happened once he hit pit road.
Well, so far, no other takers. We'll take a look at Boyer's lap times as he gets back up to speed.
Oh, Chase Elliott. He's up the racetrack, really sideways. 18 and the 4 going by.
Jamie?
And just got confirmation. I heard Johnny Klossmeyer, crew chief for Clint Boyer, said, yes, we had the right rear coming falling apart.
All right, good thing he stopped. Now, Bowyer's back up to speed.
Yeah, that actually happened on the racetrack in 3 and 4, just as Clint Bowyer was coming to pit road. You can hear that tread has now broke loose on the tire and is flapping up inside that crush panel.
So the leader running 33.80s. Bowyer, his first lap at speed, a 33.10. 7/10 quicker, but Bowyer is 1 lap down. Of course, things will cycle through as he comes around the outside of Kevin Harvick.
Here's the thing, though, Mike. I feel like Bowyer's going to have to make another stop. But if we're not seeing anybody else coming, I think they've decided to split the stage in half, and they should be coming in the next 8 to 10 laps. They'll make 1 stop, and then if we don't go to caution, he'll go to the end. But look right here at the right rear tire coming off Clint Bowyer's car. You'll see that the tread of that tire was in big trouble.
Yeah, big trouble is right.
There's a look at it.
Right down the middle. Just if one of the cords where that tread just kind of came apart right there. I mean, that might have been a pretty lucky break for Clint Bowyer to get to pit road when he did without having more issues, but I believe that was not a scheduled stop.
So Bowyer now is the only car 1 lap down, so he would be the free pass car should we have a caution flag. Kyle Busch in 3rd, 5.2 seconds off the lead behind teammates Truex and Hamlin.
So here's
Kevin Harvick, the first Ford, in 4th. Chase Elliott, the first Chevy, in 5th. Here are today's Toyota top performers.
I would say they're performing quite well. Clint Bowyer with those fresher tires going by 2nd place runner Denny Hamlin, trying to get back on that lead lap. He's got another about 3 seconds to go to catch our leader Mark Truex Jr. and he's been about a second of a lap faster his last couple laps.
He may not need the free pass. We'll see how long those new tires provide Bowyer with an advantage, trying to get back on the lead lap. Ryan Blaney, 11th. We've seen Blaney get way up close to the wall on corner exit here these last few laps.
Well, as the grip goes away, Mike, you're looking for anything that you can find, and you will use up every inch of this racetrack. Some, believe that there's actually a buffer and a wall of air that gets created, this bubble almost effect, as you get close to the wall that gives you a little extra grip, a little extra downforce to the car.
Well, you see Alex Bowman and you hear Brad Keselowski, and they're both sliding away off the corner.
There's just not many racetracks we go to, Mike, where you don't get full throttle until that far off the corner. That just tells you how much those tires wear and go away. Talked about being a cheese grater. That grip goes right along with all that tire that's being pulled off the that rubber that's being pulled off the tires.
Kind of like Chase Elliott and Logano, Kenseth and Newman have not been able to get apart, and now they will as Ryan Newman brings his Roush Fenway Ford onto pit road. Cole Custer behind him. And these were both lead lap cars. They'll go a lap down with the stop. Alex Bowman coming to the pit lane. We saw him sliding off the corner. He's decided to do something about it. And here's Austin Dillon, your Simbacourt camera, riding on car number 3 to pit lane.
They're downshift to 2nd gear to get down to pit road speed.
Matt Kenseth in, Tyler Reddick in.
Adjustment in the right rear window to the 42, Matt Kenseth.
And Chase Elliott headed down pit road. A lot of takers now.
Ooh, Matt Kenseth going out of his box right as the 9 comes in, Jamie.
And Chase Elliott just makes it into his box. Led 26 laps today. Fires off a little bit tight, and then it gets good. He's been telling Alan Gustafson, though, the car is good. I don't know what else to say or what we can do. It just doesn't have the speed to run with the guys ahead of him at this point.
Matt DiBenedetto pulls out. Jimmy Johnson in the lane. Bubba Wallace has been on the lead lap all day, but for that one moment just before a caution, he got lapped and unlapped. Jamie.
And Kevin Harvick went from having what looked like the best car in the field to, he's saying it's just way tighter. It wants to go straight in the corners. He said the car was terrible, so they'll adjust on it here.
Kyle Busch getting 4 fresh Goodyears. Eric Jones, and now Martin Truex, the race leader, is in.
Gonna be tough for this Jones number 20 car to get out of his box. Now, luckily, he had an opening in front of him as he was sideways in that box.
Truex and Hamlin hand the lead to Brad Keselowski. Jamie?
Well, I would say the 19 is probably the happiest driver all day. Just no suggestions for changes. Denny Hamlin on the right. You saw the wedge wrench go in, a wedge adjustment there. But he's been on the splitter, and he's continued to talk about it. His teammates had it earlier, but he says it continues every time they come in and pit. He's on the splitter. A little bit tight, too, for the 11.
Uh-oh, second stop for Bubba Wallace.
Looks like something on the left rear. Maybe didn't get enough lug nuts tight.
Tough break there. Timmy Hill pulling into his pit just ahead of him. Now, before pit stops, Martin Truex had 2.1 seconds on Hamlin. And that's now almost 3.
Yeah, but if you go back further than that, remember Boyer had the lead before he had that right rear tire issue coming down pit road. Will this cycle out? I believe it will, since he came really early and has those fresher tires for longer out there. But can he hold on to it? But I believe Boyer will be our leader as this thing cycles through.
Jeff, my concern there, if we stay green, he's going to have to run 63 laps on those sets of tires. And remember, he's already had the issue with the right rear much earlier than 63 laps. That would be my concern.
Well, I'd be hoping that that right rear tire was not due to the setup or the way I drove it. Yeah, it just, you know, sometimes kind of freak things happen like that.
Brad Keselowski to the pits. And Larry, that'd be my question. Looking at that tire that we saw that came off Boyer's car, did that look more like a setup issue or maybe an issue with that one tire?
I mean, it definitely could be a one-off tire, Mike, but it looked like to me a race car that is on the free side, and it's overworking that right rear tire.
Okay.
And we've definitely seen Clint Boyer working that steering wheel, sliding that back of the car around. And, you know, they might make an air pressure adjustment too, but the problem is they didn't know that that right rear tire had an issue before they put this set of tires on. At least I don't believe they had enough time to adjust.
4 tires and a piece of tape on the nose for Keselowski. And that does cycle us back around to Boyer as the race leader, 8 seconds up on Martin Truex. And 10 up on Kyle Busch, 11 up on Denny Hamlin. And here is when each of the front 5 last stopped. Counting them down, 46 to go in stage 2 of 3 at Atlanta.
Atlanta. The skyline darts out from the freeways that surround it. The sprawling metropolis welcomes you to the south. It's home to a lot of things. Fun, food, and music are staples of every person here. I bet you didn't know we have one of the world's largest aquariums. Everyone has a name for this place. You can call it the A, you can call it the ATL, or just call it the capital of the South. This is Atlanta.
Chase Elliott talking about his home city. Battling right now for 8th with Matt DiBenedetto.
Matt DiBenedetto sliding up. Kind of doing a slide job right up in front of Chase Elliott as he comes off of turn 2. You know, Chase, for whatever's happening with Chase Elliott's car today, he's just not able to run that bottom groove. He really has to run up high. I don't know if it's, you know, where his splitter's at or just the balance of his race car. But, you know, he started on the pole position, led laps early in this race, has shown signs of having some fast speed in this car at times, but right now working on that long run.
Nice shots from our Mountain Dew cam on Chase Elliott's car. Jimmy Johnson 2 cars ahead at 7th place. And Johnson holding station about 12 seconds off the lead right now.
Jimmy Johnson, no stranger knowing how to get around this racetrack with 5 wins. But, you know, cars change, tires change, competition changes, and you know, right now Jimmy Johnson, you know, been searching to try to get back to the winner's circle, but this is a track that he has confidence in, that he can find his way, and he's having a nice run here today. And his teammate also, Alex Bowman, in the position ahead of him in 7th, having a nice day.
You saw him just past Timmy Hill, who ran in all 3 events here at Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend: Trucks, Xfinity, and the Cup Series. So there's Clint Bowyer, and there's a look at his lead, which when pit stops cycled through was 6 seconds, and now is down to 2.5. Bowyer has been told they want him to try to stretch it out and finish the stage.
Well, going to be tough for him to do because, you know, he's been overheating that right rear tire. You know, we believe he's just wearing through the center of that tire by sliding the car, and that's really kind of separating the cord and exposing it in the center. So, you know, if he's going to make that thing last, he's going to have to drive the car really straight, which he's going to have to give up a little bit of speed here in the early portion. Don't forget, too, remember how hard he fought for that lead, that clean air with Mark Truex Jr. on that restart after the stage.
That had to make those tires mad.
Oh, yeah.
And you saw the result when the right rear came off. Jamie?
Johnny Kosmeyer, the crew chief on the 14, just told Clint Bowyer Goodyear was down there and their team all looked at that right rear tire and said there were blisters on it, so they believe it was not air pressure related. It was a tire issue.
Okay, thanks.
Well, it's a abrasive track, a very long, fast corner at high speeds. It's like a little bit of everything, but woo, man, that's when, as a driver, you don't want to know what that looks like.
And when you think about blistering a tire, it's the same as the blister on your skin. It just comes from excessive heat, but a lot of times that comes from a race car being very loose at a racetrack this abrasive.
So you're saying Bowyer's going to have a blister on the ball of his throttle foot.
Well, again, he's going to have to run 63 laps to run this thing out to the end, Mike, because we are still essentially 34 laps from the end of this stage. Remember, he pitted at lap 147. I think that's doable on fuel, the way the pace is slowed down, but that's asking a lot out of that right rear tire.
And if he stops, Larry, there are already 6 cars 1 lap down. It would be difficult to get back on the lead lap before the end of the stage, right?
Yeah, with him the only one, if he stopped, he'd be the only one doing this on 2 stops, and it's kind of put him in a box, Mike.
Well, and Larry, to me, if they're going to stop, they got to stop right now. They've got to take that risk. But you saw how much time Bowyer lost off of turn 2. He was trying to run that line, that white and red line, and it came off the bottom and did a big slide, abusing that right rear tire some more.
9th place. Chase and Brad. And Jimmy.
Yeah, close up on Jimmy Johnson. You know, I was never good at running the bottom in 1 and 2, Mike. The bumps, the angle you had to enter, you know, just the patience that you had to have. I loved running that top groove right up against the wall, or straddling that seam, as we've seen Chase Elliott do. Now here in 3 and 4, you almost have to be at the bottom to make the fastest laps. I do think you can save those tires a little bit by running that very high line and a wider line, you know, in turns 3 and 4, or sorry, in turns 1 and 2. Got to be really disciplined to run that bottom lane.
Just watching Brad Keselowski. He's past Jimmy Johnson. He's trying to get past Chase Elliott. That's Reed Sorensen in the 7 up to the high side. Another Atlanta native, Sorensen, Peachtree City. So now Martin Truex can draw a bead on Clint Boyer. He's got it down to 0.4 of a second and closing.
But that advantage of those new tires, I'm starting to see it kind of level out a little bit for Martin Truex Jr. because that last lap, actually, Truex was only about 1/10 faster, where he'd been 6/8 of a second faster each lap.
Eighth and 9th here. And Eric Jones trying to come back into the top 10.
And I just wonder if Jimmy Johnson's feeling something in those tires as well. Did he overheat a tire or maybe even blister a tire, because he's been losing a lot of positions these last couple of laps.
Trying to get to the end of stage 2, which is 28 laps away.
Big slide of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. That Ally Chevrolet coming off of turn 4. That Stanley Toyota, number 20, Eric Jones, looking to get by Jimmy on the bottom side. Does it pretty easily.
Ryan Blaney 12th and closing on Johnson. Makes the pass.
Yeah, I mean, when Jimmy Johnson, you know, is not putting up any kind of a fight for these positions, I really think he's just trying to hold on to that car right now and those tires.
Jamie on Martin Truex.
Yeah, well, Martin has been really happy with the car. Hasn't really had any suggestions today, but now he's saying, you guys tightened up the rear a bit too much, and that's been the cause. Although now he's turning up the wick and trying to go to the inside of Clint Boyer to see if he can make the pass and take over the lead.
Yeah, I don't think Boyer's going to put up much of a fight here, because, again, he's just trying to get to the end of this stage and take care of those tires. But now what Martin Truex Jr. has to think about is his teammate Kyle Busch. He's been moving along here, closing that gap, going to go to second place around Clint Boyer.
Boyer just trying to stay on the lead lap to the end of the stage, and to do that he can't abuse those tires any further. Truex trying to create a little distance here.
I'd say that last time by, I know there's a little bit of traffic, but Kyle Busch, fastest car on the racetrack.
So the lead tightens up between the Joe Gibbs Toyota teammates.
I am the future, and I am now.
How about winning Daytona?
I am a face you may not know, with a number you may not know.
Ross Chastain back on Algar.
But you will. Trust me, you will. I am going to make sure my name will be the one you'll remember forever. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR. I am the one. The intersection of chaos, karma, love, legacy, family, and flag. Back with one thunderous return.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit frustrating, honestly. You know, it's honestly, it's one of my favorite tracks. I love going there. And, you know, the success has been pretty good, other than, you know, just we haven't been able to win. So, you know, there's been a handful of them that we probably should have won. So it's been a little bit frustrating from that standpoint, but I love going there. It's a great racetrack. It's one of my favorites, and I always look forward to it. Hopefully, you know, hopefully this time is our time.
Martin Truex is your leader at 191 laps, but he's never won here or at Texas. So, Larry, Truex has led 46 laps today. What about that stat has caught your eye?
Well, we continue to monitor the Toyota camp, and we know this has not necessarily been their playhouse. As you mentioned earlier, they've not won here since 2013. We race here once a year, Mike, and in the last 3 years, 3 races, the Toyota camp as a whole, they have led a total of 40 laps, and now Martin Truex Jr. has led 47. Last year, Martin led 4 laps, the only Toyota driver to lead a lap, and that was only through the cycle of green flag stops.
So Larry, that just to me begs the question of what have they done? What have they been able to improve on? Because we've already documented this year's not been a really dominant year for Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing, but yet here today, 1, 2, and 4 with Hamlin, they seem to be dominating this race right now. They've worked hard and have made some big improvements.
No, they really have, Jeff. You went through it in your career. I went through it mine. When you get behind, it's not that you lose anything. It's everybody else catches up. And I think that's what we saw with the Fords, especially the Chevrolets. And I think Joe Gibbs Racing, especially with the Toyota camp, they've now realized after 9 races where they're a little behind. And to your point, I think they went to work and they came here knowing no grip and a lot of corners, as you mentioned earlier, all about downforce.
Thanks, Larry. Here's Denny Hamlin in 4th place and closing up on Clint Boyer. Now, Boyer has not slowed up that much. He was keeping pace with Kyle Busch until Kyle passed him for second, and now he and Denny Hamlin are tracking pretty identical speeds.
Yeah, but if I'm John Klossmeyer, screw Chief, I'm saying you could slow down a little bit more because we need those tires to go further than any of these guys you're racing. 15 laps is a long way to grinding down and shredding those tires.
There's Johnny. Now, so far, the longest run on a set of tires we've seen is 55 laps. I think Boyer's going to have to go 63.
As we go on board here and look at the telemetry for Clint Boyer, about the only thing Clint Boyer can do. Now remember, he ran really hard. We talked about this already in a battle with Martin Truex Jr. on the restart at the start of this stage. I think that did some damage to that right rear tire early in the stage. This run, if he's nice and smooth and doesn't slide that right rear tire as much as he did, doesn't try to abuse it in the early stages, I think this tire might be able to last the 63 laps he needs to get to.
Well, those 3 or 4 laps where they ran side by side for the lead, and Boyer kept shoving it into turn 3 just as hard as he could, and finally prevailed. That could not have been good for those tires.
No, and you wouldn't think that you could damage a tire early, but you know, a little bit of damage there, and then the longevity after running on it, sliding it on this abrasive track. And the other thing that Clint can do right here is just try not to abuse that tire as he battles with Denny Hamlin. You know, this is a time where you've got to run your own race the racetrack, not the competition.
So Hamlin takes over 3rd. Truex, Kyle Busch, and Hamlin 1, 2, 3. With teammates Boyer and Harvick 4 and 5, and then Bowman 5th.
And you know, one last thing on this racetrack and tires, I think of all the tracks, this is probably more than any other that you can actually feel how much you're abusing those tires. As you go off into the corner and the car starts to step out, you feel it, because you can slide more around this track than you can any other track because of how abrasive it is and how much the pace drops. So you know as a driver when you're hurting the right front tire or the right rear tire.
Now, Matt DiBenedetto had climbed up, I believe, to 7th, and now he's lost a few. Eric Jones going by. And now here comes Harvick. Oh, look at Boyer's car. Loose! Oh, boy.
That's what you can't do.
This is capital L, capital double O, capital S, capital E.
And, you know, this isn't helping because you've got the 17 of Chris Buescher taking the air off the 14 car of Clint Bowyer. And just by right now, I'm sure he is not loving the grip level and how loose this race car is.
So Harvick Motors passed into 4th place as we come down to 10 to go in stage 2. Fighting for the last stage point, Chase Elliott, Eric Jones, and then Matt DiBenedetto 11th. Spinner off turn 4 into the grass at the start-finish line. Michael McDowell.
We saw his teammate John Hunter Nemechek spin in that same spot earlier in this race.
Lap 202, 4th caution flag of the day.
You know who that big sigh came from, Mike? Johnny Klossmeyer reaching for Clint Bowyer.
There was no contact. McDowell looks like he just lost the car coming off turn number 4. He was 25th, 1 lap down. The black car coming into frame.
Help.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, he did.
And was that his teammate?
I hope not. I sure hope not.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was intentional. I think you know, McDowell just slid up off the bottom a little bit, opened up the door, and I believe that was the 38 John Hunter Nemechek that tried to squeeze to the inside, made a little contact with the left rear. If he did make contact, he definitely pushed the air to that left rear to force that car to go around.
Yeah, I guess I caught it in progress when McDowell was already halfway around. 4th caution flag, and Larry, you're going to have, well, now it's 8 to go in the stage. We'll probably restart with 5 to go.
I would say, yeah, probably so, Mike. Yeah, and everybody will be on pit road because, as we've mentioned, it has been a long time since they got 4 Goodyear tires, so they'll be coming in here getting 4 tires. So this is a pretty critical pit stop when it comes to maybe winning this stage or scoring some stage points.
So we have 8 cars a lap down. Cole Custer's the free pass. And like on the last caution prior to stage end, some of those lap cars may stay out and take a wave around. Martin Truex leads everybody down. Jamie?
18 of Kyle Busch said, you gave me front turn. That's what I needed. His car has gotten better. The 14 of Clint Bowyer, talk about relief from the driver's perspective. He was so loose. And remember, as you talked about blisters on the right rear, they will take a good hard look at that right rear this time around. But thankfully, he has fresh tires.
The Ram race off pit road, won by Kyle Busch.
Oh,
whoa, 5 wide.
Well, the 19 of Truex just doesn't want to be in that outside lane, but he stacked them all up behind him by trying to back it up.
Big winner there was Ryan Blaney, picking up 3 spots. Here's how he did it.
You can see he's having to get on the brakes because of the 4 of Harvick and the 19 of Truex trying to play a little game there at the end of pit road.
All right, so Kyle goes by, and then it's after you. No, after you. No, after you. No, you go. No, you go. A Goodyear tire engineer looking over the right rear that just came off Clint Bowyer's car.
Oh, wow.
And that one looking like it wouldn't have made it to the end of the stage.
Well, that caution came out in a great time for the 14 team.
17 drivers took the wave around. Kyle Busch will be your leader on this restart.
And I will say this, Mike, though, that problem is not going to go away for that 14 team anytime soon.
But look at the difference for Kyle Busch, 2019 to 2020, through the first 9 races. Yikes. A couple of big goose eggs there.
Well, they're looking at turning that stat around here today.
So now we restart with 29 drivers on the lead lap, including those waiver rounds. Cole Custer got the free pass. We're back under green. Kyle Busch, Martin Truex.
We saw that battle off the end of pit road, and the 4-car Kevin Harvick was in the preferred lane, but even he spun the tires, and now we've got a drag race. I think Martin Truex Jr. is going to be pretty happy the way this start has gone. Now he's going to get a push from Blaney, and he'll take the lead.
Fighting hard for stage points.
Oh, Kyle Busch sliding up the racetrack.
Yes.
Going to lose some positions here.
Chase Elliott with a run. And every point matters, Jeff, because Martinsville's starting lineup is based on the top 12 getting the first 12 draws. 4 wide off turn 4. Good grief. Eric Jones.
Oh, Jones with an issue.
Well, he had a long pit stop because they were trying to fix that throttle problem. He is running, but not picking up speed.
He's coasting right now, Mike. That car, I'm not sure if it's under power, if it's a tire issue. Chase Elliott going after Kyle Busch here. Just coming to 1 to go in this stage.
And the pits are closed, so bad luck for Jones.
Nice
Martin
work by
Truex.
Ryan Blaney to get in the second position.
Right front flat on Jones. He makes it to pit road. Here's the fight for 8th. Boyer and Keselowski with Johnson 10th.
Teammates battling it out here to the line. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch.
Martin Truex, stage winner again. 40th career stage win. That's 8 more than any other driver. Stage 2 winner, MTJ. Chase Elliott now 5th. If he places in the top 10 today, you know the drill. You get free fried pickles at Hooters on Monday. And if Chase wins, you get 10 free boneless wings when you order any 10. Available at all Hooters that have safely reopened across the United States. Now, Eric Jones had to pit with a flat tire. Remember that 4 wide coming off the corner? Here's another look.
And how that rarely works.
Yeah. Watch the right front of the 20. Christopher Bell.
Boy, that's all it takes to cut down that right front tire, and there's the result. Just hard racing, Mike. I mean, they were just racing and trying to get those positions on those wild restarts.
And pit road is open this time. And that looks like all the lead lap cars. There are now 29 of them. And Brennan Poole will get the free pass. The Hunt Brothers Pizza Cam on Kevin Harvick's car on the right. Here's your leader, Truex. Jamie.
Martin Truex Jr., they work on the right side of the car. They didn't get all the adjustments the last stop, so they wanted to fix that this time to tighten him up. They've been good today, and he is good on pit road. The 18 of Kyle Busch makes his way down as well.
Oof, close call there. Now the timing line is the white line before the yellow line. That's where it's determined, and you see a camera just to the right of that mounted on top of the pit wall. That is where NASCAR determines the order coming off pit road is at this white line. So there's a look at it. Now Martin Truex is your stage winner. How about we dial up the guy that crossed that line first?
Absolutely. Hey, Kyle Busch, this is Jeff and Mike in the Fox Sports studio. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, you know, it hasn't been the kind of season to start so far in 2020 that we expected out of you compared to last year. But, man, today, you guys look like you've got these Toyotas tuned up. What do you think your chances are to win this race today?
I think our chances are all right. I think the 19 is pretty good, too. They definitely have overall speed. And, you know, we were catching up there a little bit on that long run before we got the Boyer, and then it looked like he could get back out on me. So I don't know what to expect of that here for the rest of the day, but we'll just keep working on it and making our M&M's Camry the best we can to try to win this thing.
Yeah, it looks like you and Adam Stevens are definitely making some good adjustments on it. So good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Toyota 1-2 in the stage. They had only one stage win entering today. Toyota's won both stages today, and now Kyle Busch is in the lead. .110 laps to go in Atlanta. Kyle Busch, your leader. Let's take a look at how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring. Denny Hamlin in the top 10. Joey Logano, Austin Dillon in the top 20. Ryan Newman, Bubba Wallace, all on the lead lap. Daniel Suarez currently 3 laps back. Field forms up double file to begin stage number 3. The longest of the 3 stages at 115 laps.
And something to point out, Mike, you know, the 20 car of Eric Jones, right? He had to come in, change that tire under green. Unfortunately, just couldn't limp around there and stay on the lead lap. And so he's down 1 lap. I'll be curious to see how he fights back to get back on the lead lap and how things unfold the rest of this race in order to get him back into it.
Only 5 caution flag totals so far entering stage 3, so most of those 13 sets of tires the team started with should be safely new tires, safely in the pit box and available for use. We're going to listen to Tim Fedewa, Kevin Harvick's spotter, coming from 3rd position as they approach the Geico restart zone.
Matrix in. 10 away. 5, ready, 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 ready. Green, green, green. Big push all line here, tight. Still there, clear the 19. All pushing still. First 2 clear, you're clear up. 19's gonna come with the run, just get up there. You have to block him a little bit here. Alright, now get to your bottom. He's trying to go top, probably. Half back, trying to go top. You're still clear now. He's out of line to the bottom. You and the 18. You and the 18. 19's come with you. Still there. Still out of line. Clear, 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 clear. 19 come with a big run to the top with you. Clear. All clear. Hit your mark. 2 back to 2 wide. 19 will be in your mirror. 2 back when you get to 3.
And that's how you restart 3rd and take the lead at Atlanta.
What a move by Kevin Harvick. The way he set up Kyle Busch to take that lead. You saw him get that run down the back straightaway, use a push from Kyle Busch's teammate Martin Truex Jr. and then dove to the outside and got to the quarter panel and completed the pass.
Keselowski. Boy, they've woken up that 2 car. Started 4th, 3rd, and drops 1 to 4th.
Like I said, you know, Brad Keselowski, this 2 team. Oh, big slide by Chase Elliott trying to cross over on Brad Keselowski as Brad slid up in front. But what is it about this team and this driver of this 2 car that knows how to fight his way back and overcome things and get himself in position for good things to happen late in this race. Here's that crossover move. Chase Elliott sees the two slide up, tries to turn underneath them, and loses all the downforce. Slides, doesn't check up though. No. Chase Elliott stayed in the gas and still was able to make that pass happen.
That's one of Keselowski's favorite moves, that top to bottom elevator shot. And Chase trying it there. Second place, teammates.
When we had heard from Kyle Busch, Adam Stevens and Kyle have done a great job making some good adjustments and getting the balance right on the 18 of Kyle Busch. And then on the flip side, Mark Truex Jr., looks like he and James Small, they've maybe gone the wrong direction, or the track has changed. He doesn't seem to be as good right now in this stage of the race.
Last time by, Kevin Harvick's last lap was the fastest lap of the race, 31.57 seconds.
Jeff, I do think this track is changing. The ambient temperature is coming down, which means the track temperature is coming down. So this is definitely going to go through some changes over these last 100 laps.
Yeah, great point, Larry.
So there he is, Harvicking, a verb that was coined here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Drop the car down to that white line and ride it all the way around the corner. That's Harvicking.
It is, but that's not what he's doing down here in turns 1 and 2, and that's not how he took the lead. So, you know, a great driver knows how to adapt, knows how to change to the conditions, and I believe that's what Kevin Harvick has had to do. It's what he did to take this lead, and he's looking in his mirror now at Kyle Busch trying to figure out, what do I got to do to keep this clean air? You see him back down to the bottom. I mean, I really think the preferred line in turns 3 and 4 is the bottom, but you have options down here 1 and 2. You can run that very bottom, or you can run about 3 lanes up.
Roger Penske teammates, Blaney and Keselowski, fighting it out for 5th. Nice to see IndyCar get their season started last night at Texas.
Yeah, congratulations to Scott Dixon winning that race. You see here, and now here's a difference down in 3 and 4. You can run different grooves in 3 and 4, and you might want to search for clean air like Ryan Blaney's doing. We're seeing a couple others do that same thing, but just doesn't seem like the high line works as good in 3 and 4 as it does down here in 1 and 2. Again, straddling that seam. That's the line I always love to run. There's just something about that part of the racetrack that allows you a little more room to slide the car out on the exit. I always found a little extra grip in that lane versus right up against the wall. You can hear the car crashing into the racetrack as it goes through those bumps in 3 and 4.
And he can see Keselowski getting loose off the corner in front of him and just sitting there going, here I come.
Yeah, this is where you have to have a lot of patience. You see Brad slides up the racetrack. That's where you've got to hold on, not get him back into the throttle too early. Keep it down low, left sides on that paint, and drive that car straight up off the corner. Take advantage of that.
Looking back from our Ford onboard camera from Brad Keselowski. Jamie?
And last week, Mike, he overcame a pit road penalty to win the race. Today, he had a pit road penalty. Now he's top 5. I asked his crew chief, what makes Brad so good overcoming a car that maybe isn't capable of winning, but he takes it to victory lane. He said he's patient. He knows when to push the car, and he manages those tires, and that's exactly what he's doing today.
Thanks, Jamie. Keselowski in 5th. Now, about 3 laps ago, Kyle Busch all but caught Kevin Harvick, and now, very suddenly, he's faded to 3rd.
Yeah, I just don't know if maybe that pressure he put on Kevin Harvick abused those tires a little bit, maybe just changed the balance on that 18 car. So I very often at this racetrack, you can push and slide those tires and overheat one, the right rear or the right front tire, and it'll take a couple laps to recover. So that might be what's happening here with the 18 of Kyle Busch. Also might have been what happened at the very beginning of this stage with the 19 of Mark Truex Jr.
28 cars on the lead lap, all the way back to Corey LaJoie, 14 seconds off the lead. 97 to go. And it's Ricky Stenhouse and Kurt Busch here for 11th.
Having a quiet day for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., but doing a nice job maintaining good running position
Yeah, he and Ryan Preece both on the lead lap still for JTG Doherty.
We expected a little bit more out of Kurt Busch after we saw those early issues, but he had a fast race car at the beginning of this race, but that shows you again how much the track's changed.
95 laps to go. Kevin Harvick out in front of Martin Truex by half a second. The Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. 91 laps to go here in Atlanta. Kevin Harvick out in front. Time for our Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Well, Mike, I've got my eye on Martin Truex Jr. is in second place right now. He's got a great long run car. He's won both stages so far in this race. The last time he did that was at Martinsville, and guess what? He went on to win. I think he gets win number 1 in Atlanta today.
Jeff, Kevin Harvick got his first career win at Atlanta back in 2001. It took him 17 years to find victory lane again down at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I was a little concerned earlier, but I think with at least one more pit stop to go, out front leading, he's going to give Rodney Childress the best birthday present you can give a crew chief.
Well, Chase Elliott is the Georgia boy. He led his first ever lap, started on the pole here for the first time. My eye is on Chase Elliott. He's going to follow in his dad's footsteps and win at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Kyle Busch started the final stage with the lead. He's won here for 2 different crew chiefs. Adam Stevens could be the 3rd for Kyle. That's your Credit One Bank ones to watch. Harvick's lead is opening up. 1.2 seconds now on Martin Truex. Matt Kenseth, after some early contact. See a lot of tape on the nose, but he's solidly on the lead lap here in 15th. Drivers on the lead lap. We've had 8 different leaders, 5 caution flags for 24 laps.
Now Harvick's, he's looking in his mirror. He's seeing Martin Truex Jr. put some good laps together right now. So you can see how difficult it is to hook that line. Even as good as Harvick is at Harvicking, it's still tough to do. But he's searching around the racetrack down in turns 1 and 2 because Martin Truex Jr. is closing in.
Teammates fighting for 5th. Those Mustangs of Keselowski and Blaney. It's Chase Elliott just ahead of Keselowski. Wednesday night, we're going short tracking. We're going to Martinsville on FS1.
Under the lights, Mike.
Yeah, hell froze over. The Eagles reunited, and they put lights at Martinsville. Go figure. But that's going to be fun.
Yes, it is.
Can't wait.
We're going to see those brake rotors glowing.
Yep. Austin Dillon in 16th. 14 seconds off the lead as 5th place is still under discussion here.
You know, Mike, since we've gone back racing here, I don't know if the drivers and the teams, how much they focused on this lineup of tracks that were coming and some of the changes in the schedule. We see this battle just continue to heat up. This is a great battle here at Atlanta Motor Speedway today. A lot of this that we've seen today, but they have gone to some tough racetracks. I mean, you think about opening up at Darlington. You know, we've gone to Bristol, we've gone to Charlotte. Now we're here at Atlanta. I mean, this is a tough lineup. This is taking a lot out of these race drivers.
Josh Bilicki in the middle as Keselowski and Blaney have taken their battle all the way up to Chase Elliott at 4th place. With 83 laps to go, here's a look at your progressive race summary. Kevin Harvick has led the most laps today, 71, one of 8 different leaders, 18 lead changes, 28 cars still on the lead lap. Martin Truex, winner of the first 2 stages, his first 2 stage wins of the year. Ryan Newman 21st, 19 seconds back. 28 lead lap cars back to Ty Dillon.
There's that battle up front. You can see Mark Truex Jr. About every other lap, he just chops off about a half of a tenth on Kevin Harvick's lead. Now Kevin Harvick, now these tires have been worn down a little bit. The pace starting to drop. You can see him start to work that bottom lane that he does so well down in 1 and 2.
Chase Elliott running the high line, 3 and 4.
That lap
fell to Keselowski.
Yeah, this lap car is going to affect his line. See Suarez running the same line that Chase Elliott does. Nice job adapting and moving around the Suarez vehicle and not losing too much time to Ryan Blaney, he's working hard to try to make that pass on Chase Elliott. He's going to dive down to the bottom here, 1 and 2. Look how high on the racetrack Chase Elliott's running, how low Ryan Blaney is.
Well, Chase is up in the Harry Gant groove now. And that's one of the fun things about coming to Atlanta and watching a race, is it is such a multi-groove racetrack, and drivers search around and find different places to run at different times during the race.
That's what every driver's dream is. I mean, yes, you have to have a fast race car and a car that's not too abrasive on the tires or wears them out too much, but you play a big role as a driver in that. You play a role in the speed that you find, how you navigate through traffic, and what you do to treat those tires well. And man, as a driver, I loved this racetrack.
Larry, 78 laps to go. What are you thinking?
Well, normally they crunch numbers on Race Hub on FS1 at 6 p.m. Eastern every week. I've been crunching numbers on tire windows and fuel windows. So we went back racing with 108 laps to go. Based on what teams were doing in that last stage, if you split it right down the middle, that means you need to run 54 laps per run. So they'll basically pit around lap 271. And Mike, I can't make this stuff up. Do you know how many laps Boyer had run earlier when that caution came out for Michael McDowell? 54 laps.
Well, listen, if I'm Johnny Klossmeyer, I'm thinking about how many stops is that, Larry, that you had for everybody else? However many, if it was 3 or 2, I want 1 more if I'm Boyer.
Well, again, you can split this in 1 stop, but there is a way that you could divide it into thirds. Not sure anybody's thinking that, Jamie.
Yeah, and Johnny Klossmeyer, Clint Boyer, was talking about that very thing when we went green. He said we can split it in half and do 55 laps, but I am concerned about the right rear. So I talked to his tire specialist and asked if there's anything he can do at this point. He said I could add a little air pressure, but we have not done that yet. We'll think about it on this next stop.
I mean, the way this track is new tires are so important to me. If you know no cautions are coming out, the faster strategy is a 2-stop strategy, and I love fresh tires where I don't have to worry about them, but I'm not a strategist or a crew chief.
If we only knew. Kevin Harvick, your leader, with 75 to go. Kevin Harvick leads the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 at Atlanta with 71 laps to go. He's 1 second ahead of Martin Truex. Let's have a look at today's race recap, sponsored by Advance Auto Parts. On the pace laps, they brought the cars to a halt on the front straightaway as Steve Phelps, NASCAR president, addressed the competitors about the turmoil in America today. And after a 30-second silence for listening, they fired the engines, resumed the pace laps, and we got underway. Kevin Harvick, the early leader, falling to Martin Truex here. with only the competition yellow and then a brief caution before the end of stage 1. Truex got his first stage win of the year. Clint Boyer had a fast car, but he kept burning up the right rear tire. Not once, but twice. That's a look at the second right rear that came off the car as they tried to stretch out the tire mileage. 4 wide didn't work for Eric Jones in the yellow car. He got up into Christopher Bell, and that cut down the right front tire. Jones is still a lap down. Only one caution in stage 2 for Michael McDowell's spin, and stage 2 also won by Martin Truex. Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick for stage 3. Harvick jumped out to the lead, which he has not relinquished. And that's your Advanced Auto Parts race recap. Here are your lap leaders today. Harvick 86 and counting. 6th place, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, we've seen today where Denny Hamlin has a good car on the longer runs, and as we get into this portion of this run, about 48 laps in, you can see Denny's car really starting to come to the front.
Jeff, we've seen this at several races since we've been back racing. We saw it with this 11 car at Charlotte. We saw it at Bristol. We've seen it a lot since we've been back racing over the last few weeks. Good on the long run. Well,
and Denny's one of those drivers that I think is very good at the long runs, pacing himself, taking it easy on the tires in the early stages of a run. But, you know, right now he's got to find a way to get that track position a little bit further up, he and the team, so that they can take advantage of that long run speed if they're going to get the win.
Back here at 13th, Alex Bowman and Joey Logano both were figured to be front runners here today, but for a variety of reasons, Logano had some damage on pit road and still trying to work his way back up. He's at 13th. Bowman at 14th. Matt Kenseth at 15th.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. I mean, you know, if you look at the mile and a halves and the bigger tracks this year, the 88 of Alex Bowman's been really strong in position to win. He's won one of those. Then you've got Logano has won 2 races, also one of those on a mile and a half. So yeah, I expected a little bit more out of those guys. And here's Denny Hamlin again continuing to march forward on this run.
Hamlin restarted 8th, is now 5th. You're riding with Daniel Suarez. He recently made a stop for tires. Corey LaJoie ahead of leader Kevin Harvick, and here comes Suarez with those 4 feel goods.
Yes, they feel great right now.
Matt DiBenedetto's in the pits. Austin Dillon is in. Cole Custer is coming. These are cars toward the tail end of the lead lap. Pitting with 63 to go.
And Mike, they're just trying to pit a little early, what we call short pit, to try to take full advantage of those 4 fresh tires and see if they can make some gains on getting back closer to the leader.
So that'll lead us 25 cars right now on the lead lap. Excuse me, 23. Ryan Preece, last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, every time Eric Jones gets himself in position to be the free pass, another car goes a lap down.
Ty Dillon on pit road. And is that a big piece of bare bond, I guess, on the left front corner there? Earlier damage. Ricky Stenhouse is going to give up a top 15 position to pit. And a few more takers here. Now, all of these are in the second half of the cars that are on the lead lap. Ryan Newman, another one. Newman a lap down now. And so is Suarez with these stops. But so far, among the leaders, the top 15 cars, no takers. But for Jimmy Johnson, who was 10th. Ty Dillon too fast entering pit road. We'll get a pass through.
Hits pit road as Jimmy Johnson exits his pit stall.
Bubba Wallace is in. So now these are top 15 cars that are pitting. Trying to get a jump on the leaders. Clint Boyer coming this time. He's the 8th place car. Kevin Harvick so far staying out, as is Truex, Kyle Busch, Blaney, and Hamlin, the top 5. And that right rear looked pretty good on Boyer's car. I didn't see any evidence of any blistering.
And we heard radio communication. That car was really, really tight. They tightened the car up, and I don't think it's using the right rear as much as it had been. Chase Elliott coming into his stall. Kurt Busch on pit road.
Well, you saw how fast those new tires were for Daniel Suarez when he was getting around the leader.
Oh, this is
Kevin
big.
Harvick, and here's Truex.
Second place on pit road.
This should bring everybody, right, Larry? Jamie.
Martin Truex Jr. in the 19 coming into his pit box. 3 and 4 is where they felt like they were making the most gains on Kevin Harvick. You see the tear off on the windshield for clear view to the end of the race. A 4-tire stop. No adjustments for the 19.
And right away, you see our leader, Kevin Harvick, head to pit road as soon as he saw that the 19 of Truex is on pit road. Now they're coming. Tyler Reddick.
Jamie.
And Kevin Harvick's team's been solid all day. 4-tire stop here. Crew Chief Rodney Childers said we will free you up a bit. Kevin just saying he's a little too tight. Car doesn't want to turn as good as it should in the middle of the corner. 4 tires go on there and a little tape on the nose.
Ryan Blaney takes over the lead from Joey Logano and Alex Bowman. Keselowski and Hamlin in.
Boy, tough entry there for Keselowski as he had to come around John Hunter Nemechek in his box.
Boy, Ryan Blaney locked him up coming to pit road. So only 3 lead lap drivers left to pit. Logano, Bowman, McDowell. Joey is the leader. Cars with newer tires flashing past him.
We've seen Paul Wolf try to pull this same strategy when he was crew chief for Brad Keselowski. Now he switched over here to Joey Logano. See how long they decide to stay out.
Here's the only thing they gain by doing this. I mean, right now, there's only 12 drivers on the lead lap, but the way the tires give up, if we catch a caution right now, even all these drivers that just pitted under green, they would follow Joey Logano right down pit road again for 4 fresh tires if we could get a caution.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're hoping for, right? Is that caution to fall at the right time. And we've seen it happen before. Alex Bowman in his pit stall. And here comes Joey Logano in the Pennzoil 4.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson and Clint Boyer just run 32.50s. Logano was a 1.5 seconds slower than them. That's just too much to give up to stay out.
I mean, I think it's worth risking for a few laps, but not a lot longer.
So Michael McDowell will be the last of these lead lap cars to pit. Eric Jones, by virtue of this, stays out and climbs back up onto the lead lap, at least temporarily.
And Mike, what Paul Wolf did with Joey Logano by running to lap 271, that exactly split that stage in half. 54 laps the first run. You see Paul Wolf right there. 54 laps from here to the checkered flag.
I thought Martin Truex Jr. by coming in a lap before Kevin Harvick might be able to take advantage of that and those fresher tires and get the lead, but didn't work out.
No, a 2-second margin before pit stops, 2-second margin now.
So a lot of credit to the pit stop, to the pit crew of putting together 2 even stops and those drivers being even on pit road.
53 laps to go in Atlanta. But now Martin Truex starting to eat into Kevin Harvick's lead just a little bit as we take you Fox side by side.
Here's to the road ahead. Trust Toyota to be here for you.
Now every hybrid vehicle in Toyota's lineup is available with 0% financing. With fewer stops for gas, Toyota hybrids give you the confidence to go farther. And with 0% financing, Toyota hybrids are even more thrilling. Enjoy more freedom in a Toyota hybrid. See your Toyota dealer or shop and buy online.
All from the brand you trust, today and tomorrow. Toyota.
Don't do it. Don't you dare.
I don't think so. It's okay, big fella. We're going to get through this together. Nice rip, Robbie.
When you bundle home and auto insurance through Progressive, you get more than just a big discount.
I'm going to need you to leave.
You get relentless protection.
9. It's not just a number, it's a bloodline. Having your name on a car means something. To me, it means people are counting on you to get it done. So you've got to hate losing as much as you love to win. When it's your name on that car, you've got to dig deep.
I am the one. The intersection of chaos, karma, love, legacy, family, and flag. Back with one thunderous return.
That's Gerald Duke in the 92. He was from Atlanta, worked at the Ford plant. Jumped 19 times as a paratrooper behind enemy lines in World War II, came home to race stock cars, and competed here in the very first race at Atlanta Motor Speedway in 1960. Gerald Duke passed Friday, age 92. One of America's greatest generation and war heroes and racer. 47 laps to go. Kevin Harvick in front of Martin Truex by 2.05 seconds. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, the top 5. And Blaney thinks he may have a vibration. He's called into his crew to be on the alert.
It's always a fear. You know, coming to pit road, you got to be careful getting on pit road. You don't want to give up much time. Then under green flag, you just, and this could be the final stop, and you're just trying to do everything right to get your driver out ahead of who he's competing with, and sometimes that's what could cause you to just hit or miss a couple of those lug nuts. Jamie?
And Brad Keselowski, before he pitted, said he was too tight when he came in. They looked at the tires and found spots on the rears, told him to be more careful. He's saying right now the car fired off better, so the tune's getting better, but he's keeping those tires in his mind.
Now, we told you Eric Jones got back on the lead lap with everyone else pitting. Jones finally did make his stop. Too fast entering. And Christopher Bell had a 25-second stop. He went from 17th to 25th, falling off the lead lap. So 20 lead lap cars now back to Bubba Wallace with 45 to go.
So Brad Keselowski, one of those drivers that maybe stayed out a little bit longer than some others, cut by a couple, 2-3 laps. Lost some positions, but you'll see he'll start to make those up as we run green here if it continues under green.
So on your right, Ryan Blaney, who may have a vibration. On the left, Kevin Harvick. A little contrast in style. Whoa.
Man, talk about a fast steering box and those hands working. Think about doing that for 500 miles. Have next time, you can see Kevin Harvick waving out the window to one of the lap cars. I can't wait to talk to Ryan Blaney next time and ask him why he's got 2 stripes on the steering wheel. I have a pretty good idea that the white stripe around there is where he kind of references that wheel. But you would think that the manufacturer of the steering wheel could maybe take that other line out. Hard to say.
Well, look, Kevin Harvick's driving one-handed. You know, if he was Dick Trickle, he'd have time to light up a cigarette maybe. I don't know. You know, just taking it easy. But his lead is not growing. It's 1.8 seconds over Martin Truex right now. Difference in steering wheel diameters too. I guess that's just a matter of driver preference.
Or it's old school, new school, Mike.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I have seen where a lot of these teams have been able to get the grip and the front geometry in these cars to work those front tires a little bit better, running a smaller wheel, running a faster steering box. And it is a lot of it driver preference. If you've got really quick hands and you like to drive it like that, then go with it, because there might be a little extra speed and grip in those front tires with it. But I like the old school way of Kevin Harvick. Just nice big wheel, nice and smooth, just pulls it right around the bottom and makes it look easy.
Austin Dillon trying to race for a top 10 spot here. Works his way around Quinn Houff. Wednesday night on FS1, we're live in prime time at Martinsville for the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500. Then Sunday, NASCAR rolls into Miami, Homestead for the Dixie Vodka 400, 3:30 Eastern on Fox. Both races also available on the Fox Sports app. Double dose of NASCAR this week.
Mike, you mentioned Austin Dillon in that 3 car sitting in the 12th position. Justin Alexander brought him to pit road quite a bit earlier than most of the leaders, and that did pay dividends, at least in the early part of this run. We'll see what it does now that we're down to less than 40 laps to go.
Kevin Harvick out front by 2.5. Remember, his second Cup race in 2001 was right here. He was in that 29 for Richard Childress, fought Jeff Gordon all the way to the flag. Scored a very emotional win for the memory of Atlanta Motor Speedway's all-time winner with 9, Dale Earnhardt. 2018. Not exactly back-to-back, but they're all sweet.
Yes, they are, and boy, I'll certainly never forget that 2001 race. I mean, that battle in those closing, 25 laps, there was about 4 or 5 different cars, and then it finally came down to me and Kevin, and just an awesome battle, but also a very emotional day. That was a huge win, not just for Kevin Harvick, but especially for the sport, and mourning the loss of the late Dale Earnhardt Sr.
That was pretty epic. That's one of about 10 races that I like to point to and say I'm glad I was there that day and got to call that one.
You and me both.
It's quite a day. Harvick 1.9 up right now with 36 to go on Truex. Keselowski and Kurt Busch fighting for 9th and 10th. You got to wonder what might have happened today had Kurt Busch started in 12th. The position he drew in that top 12 draw, but he had to start out back.
Well, this is the best position, as you can see there on the screen with the stats that this team has been in all day long. I mean, yeah, they started behind the 8 ball, and they've been able to continue to work on this car. I think the track caught them off guard at one stage in the race, and then they finally made some adjustments to get this car right for Kurt Busch as he finds his way in the top 10.
Behind him, Matty Benedetto about 5 seconds behind Kurt, who has had kind of an up and down day. up to 7th at stage 2. And currently 11th. He has a cushion of about a second on Austin Dillon for that spot. And Ricky Stenhouse has been in the top 15 most of today. And it has been a quiet day for Ricky.
Well, some days you got to put that together. You know, when you talk about points, how important they are, especially right now, how they're playing an impact on the next race that you go to. I think it's extremely important for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Be aggressive when you need to be aggressive. But on days like today, be smooth and be consistent.
So let's check in on our rookies. There's Tyler Reddick, currently in 18th. Cole Custer, 21st. A lap down, so is Christopher Bell. John Hunter Nemechek, 1 lap down also. Brennan Poole is 3 laps down, and Quinn Houff is 9 laps back.
I can tell you a lot about my first day. First race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We came and tested. Back in the old days, you could test, and we were lightning fast. Right up until I backed it in the wall. Oh, about halfway through that race. Oh,
that was November '92, right?
It was. Boy, what a historic day and moment. And, you know, you talk about proud to be a part of a race. I was so proud to be a part of that drivers' meeting, Richard Petty's final race, and be a part of that event.
Yep, that's another one on my list. Let's take a look at it. November '92, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Richard Petty, unfortunately, crashed out of the race. The car caught fire. Jeff Gordon's first Cup start. Dale Earnhardt very much in the picture. And came down to Bill Elliott and Alan Kulwicki after Davey Allison had difficulties. Kulwicki knew just what he needed to do to win that championship by leading the most laps and counting how many laps each drive. How do you count that at 180 miles an hour? But Alan did and won that championship. The last time that a sole owner driver has won the Cup championship in NASCAR. Doubt that'll ever happen again. 30 laps to go. Harvick. That's got to be maddening to still be second by 1.8 seconds after chasing Kevin Harvick so hard. But that's where Martin Truex sits with Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin 3, 4, and 5. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Ooh, 2 drivers pushing the issue. Look at Joey Logano thinking about taking it 3 wide.
All right, in defense of Stenhouse, Ty Dillon is 2 laps down, and these 2 drivers are fighting for positions on the lead lap. You won't miss a minute. We're going to go Fox double wide with 29 to go.
We design and engineer in America and assemble more vehicles here than anyone else. It's why, at a moment's notice, we can take American ingenuity and our manufacturing capability and put it to work. Building respirators, ventilators, and face shields. Building what we've been building for over a century. An unbreakable connection between the Ford Motor Company and America.
Motorcycle riders love the open road, and Geico loves helping riders get to where they're going. So to help even more, Geico is giving new and current customers a 15% credit on their motorcycle policies with the Geico Give Back. And because we're committed for the long haul, the credit lasts your full policy term. The Geico Give Back, helping riders focus on the road ahead.
Reliability is everything. So if your network's down, you're down. Verizon knows your customers need to reach you seamlessly. Your team needs to work from different places, across many devices. Plus, you want the security trusted by some of the largest companies in the world. And that's why you trust us, the most reliable network in America.
I am the future, and I am now. I am going make sure my name will be the one you'll remember forever. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
When you get tagged here, it doesn't mean you're it. It means you're out.
Wednesday, meet our biggest pro tagger yet.
This is one of the only times I wish I had a step stool.
Can any of our 6 new challengers get past the Viking?
These were little boys that were scared to run.
The summer's #1 new show has everybody on edge.
She does not look happy. Oh my God!
Ultimate Tag, all new this Wednesday on Fox.
25 laps to go in the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 on Fox. There is the winner's trophy and all that it symbolizes, as Kevin Harvick now has a lead of 2.2 seconds on Martin Truex. Not exactly driving away, but Truex is making no inroads either. Kyle Busch still 4.5 back, Ryan Blaney 10, and Denny Hamlin 13 seconds back. There are 17 lead lap cars.
Mike, I got some bad news for the competition as it relates to Kevin Harvick. So the track started about 130 degrees. It has cooled down under 100 degrees right now, and to me that is just pushing this right into Kevin Harvick's wheelhouse. I think when the grip is higher as that track cools down, it allows him to run that bottom groove even better and more consistent, and it's just, to me right now, Kevin Harvick, as you watch him make these laps, he's just able to nail his lines and just wrap that line all the way around both ends of the racetrack.
Well, we're not going to light the candles on Rodney Childers' birthday cake just yet. But Larry, what do we have to look forward to?
Well, Mike, my trends, they've been a little bit fickle here lately, so I really dug deep on this when I looked at the last 10 Atlanta spring races, and the last caution falls average about lap 303, 22 laps to go, which is exactly where we are. In fact, of those 10 races, 6 times it happened in the final 20 laps, and we have had 3 overtime finishes here in the last 10 spring races.
Okay, thanks, Larry.
I wouldn't be surprised if those trends show that it's probably happened while Kevin Harvick was leading too.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the last 28 Atlanta races, Harvick has just the 1 victory to show for it, but he's now opened it up to 2.5. And there's Kurt Busch looking back from Clint Boyer. He is a grinder. He has fought his way to 8th place.
Yeah, I give a lot of credit to Kurt Busch and Matt McCall, the crew chief in the #1. I think they've called a great race, and they've also made some good adjustments here for this final run to the end.
Jamie?
And you guys are talking about the track temps. Substantial cloud cover right now. A lot of drivers talking about how it is tightening up. However, that does not help Clint Boyer in the 14. He's saying how loose he is, and he's telling his team, I don't think it's going to hang on. That, of course, is the right rear tire we've been talking about.
Well, he's in 7th place with 20 laps to go.
Well, and this is the tricky part about all this. He was super tight on the last run because I think they maybe made an adjustment, or that set of tires was way tighter, and he didn't have a right rear issue. But he couldn't go as fast as he wanted to either, so they free the car back up. Now all of a sudden it's turning and it's fast, and then it's blistering the right rear tire again. Look at Chase Elliott up on the fence down through 3 and 4, and how much speed that carries him down the front straightaway.
It's Kurt Busch, and here he comes after Boyer.
Long way around that top groove versus that bottom lane.
But boy, it's working for him. Look at the run he gets off the corner. So Elliott moves to 7th.
Now that last time by, Chase Elliott was actually about 2/10 faster than our leader Kevin Harvick.
Hendrick Chevy's now 6th, 7th, 15th, and William Byron, who had a flat tire early, 35th.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson leading the Chevy Brigade in 6th position. He came in a little bit earlier. Cliff Daniels brought him in 2-3 laps earlier than the rest of the field, or most of them anyway, and that has paid off. He's been able to hold off that 6th position, but 17 laps to go. Let's see if he can maintain that position.
Jimmy, who got the engines fired up to run this race today, running in 6th. Nemechek just ahead, 1 lap down. Kurt Busch trying to get back to Chase Elliott.
You know, Mike and Jeff, we've heard Jamie Little talk about air pressure changes all day long. Let me clarify something. We're not talking about air pressure changes like when you go to the service station to put air in your tires. These guys are changing air pressure in these tires quarter pound, half pound. It would be rare if they do more than a 1 pound adjustment in these tires. That's how sensitive these race cars are.
Wow. Now, Stenhouse 14th, Kenseth 15th, and Bowman is the last lead lap car. They're in 16th. Kurt Busch up for 7th.
Working every square inch of this racetrack to try to make this pass on Chase Elliott. Missed the bottom right there. Had to go to the middle and then the top. Chase Elliott took advantage of that on the bottom.
Now, we talked earlier about how points are figuring into this. If Jimmy Johnson could pass 3 cars, he would draw with the top 12 for starting positions at Martinsville based on owner points. As it is right now, he has to draw 13 to 24.
Wow. But you can hear the right rear tires come unwound again. That tread blistered on the 14 here of Clint Boyer. He's going to have to come to pit road. Well, he said he didn't think he could make it, and he hasn't.
Nope, here he comes off turn 4 to the pit lane, and Clint Boyer is going to surrender a top 10 spots to get new tires so he can finish this race. Now there are 10 cars 1 lap down, and so Boyer will be one of them. Won't be the first car 1 lap down, but he will end up somewhere between 15th and 25th. Another blistered up right rear.
Unfortunately, that has been the story of his day.
So Boyer should be able to stay 1 lap down, but he won't have any chance to get the free pass.
And, you know, I was just going to say, this is one of the reasons why, if you're Kevin Harvick, you want to build up a sizable lead on the second place runner, Martin Truex Jr., because as the 4 car of Kevin Harvick has caught some of these lap cars like Alex Bowman, they're fighting to stay on the lead lap in case that caution comes out. And has actually made life a little bit more difficult and has allowed Truex to close in, you know, maybe about a second to that lead.
Sure, Jeff, with 11 laps to go, you have little to lose by battling to stay on that lead lap. Coming to 10 to go, Larry.
Yeah, I guess I've been watching these issues with Clint Boyer in the 14 car, Johnny Klossmeyer with right rears, and there's no question they have 3 teammates, and it certainly weighs on, for example, Rodney Childress, Kevin Harvick, the 14. What's going on over there at the 14? But these crew chiefs know where all of their setups are, and I bet you already by now they know what was a little bit different on that 14 car that has pushed them over the edge with that right rear tire.
Yeah, no doubt, Larry, and if I had to guess, they knew pretty early on there's probably not much they're going to be able to do to save that right rear tire from this problem happening every run.
Well, 1 time is an incident, 2 times is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern.
Next you're going to tell me 4 times is a trend. 9 to go. Alex Bowman goes a lap down. That leaves us 13 cars on the lead lap. And we're keeping a close eye on Eric Almirola in 18th because if he loses 2 more spots or Jimmy Johnson gains 2, one of them will get to draw for a top 12 spot at Martinsville. The other will not.
Yeah, because if you're 13th in owner points, what, you could start 25th based on that random draw at a track where track position, Martinsville and the short tracks, track position is huge.
Jimmy in 6, 20 seconds off the lead, 21 now. And about 3 seconds back of Kevin Hamlin. Excuse me, Denny Hamlin. Kevin Hamlin's a spotter. Kevin Harvick now 3.4 ahead of Martin Truex. Harvick just driving away with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, Harvick lost a little bit in some lap traffic, but then he was able to open that back up. Here's that battle. Oh, boy, that gets tight 3 wide with Ty Dillon in the middle for Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch. But, yeah, once Harvick cleared some of that lap traffic, he really opened it back up.
And these two, while they're battling, they're gaining on Jimmy Johnson. About a half a tenth a lap here.
Yeah, again, those tires that have about 3 or 4 laps more on them for Jimmy Johnson, this is when you really start to feel the effects of that. Oh boy, Kurt Busch cutting Chase Elliott a break right there. He could have slid up in front of him and pushed the issue.
Great battle for 7th place.
Oh man, this is fun to watch.
And at 2nd place, a pair of teammates. Martin Truex, Kyle Busch. Truex has now dropped to 3.5 off the lead. And Ryan Newman just ahead, 1 lap down. We'll see if 2nd changes hands in these final 5 laps. How good is Kevin Harvick and how hard is he charging? There's only 9 other cars left on the lead lap.
That's unbelievable. The tear he's been on. There goes Kyle Busch to 2nd place. Truex fighting back though on the outside. Wow. Just sliding around at 180, 190 miles per hour, Mike. That's all.
Right. So the Roush Fenway teammates, Newman up high, and his teammate Chris Buescher has gone a lap down, 21st. And Kurt's going after Jimmy Johnson.
See those fresh tires on the front.
Di Benedetto, we're told, had a tire coming apart and is now on the tail end of being 1 lap down.
Well, I know it's only 2 laps to go, but boy, I'd be worried if I'm some of these guys about those tires, even with 2 laps to go.
Joey Logano, 25 seconds back, is the last car on the lead lap. And the white flag is waving as we have 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. And that is the mercy flag for the rest of this field.
Yeah, this has been an impressive day. Kevin Harvick was strong at times, but he and Rodney Childers had to work very hard to get their car back to the front. And I give Kevin a lot of credit for how hard he pushed to take the lead away from Kyle Busch.
We'll light that candles on Rodney Childers' birthday cake because Kevin Harvick wins Atlanta.
Great pit stop, and boy, I don't know what you guys did to this thing at the end, but great job.
51st career victory for Harvick, who takes sole possession of 12th on the all-time NASCAR win list, breaking a tie with Junior Johnson and Ned Jarrett. 2nd win of the year, and his 3rd at Atlanta, tying him with Kurt Busch for the 2nd most wins here among active drivers. Jimmy Johnson has 5. As you pointed out earlier, he's now led over 10,000 laps since he joined Stewart-Haas Racing. This is his 7th season with the team.
Might find out just how much Goodyear rubber's left on these tires for Kevin Harvick as he starts to do this burnout.
The 44-year-old Harvick becomes the oldest driver to win Atlanta since Dale Earnhardt in March of 2000. Dale was 48 when he scored that victory. Ford has now won the last 4 Atlanta races. 33rd Atlanta win for the Blue Oval.
I know there's no fans here to cheer on Kevin Harvick right now, but I think that Kevin Harvick right now is still paying tribute and waving to the fans in his own way, and paying tribute to Dale Earnhardt. Have a feeling every time he wins here, Mike, this is going to be something we're going to see out of Kevin Harvick.
A number 3 salute from Kevin Harvick, and remember we talked about Alan Kulwicki winning the championship here, and here's a Polish victory lap, Kulwicki style, by Kevin Harvick. 6th win this year for Ford, 33rd at Atlanta. For the Farmers. All right. Crew Chief Rodney Childers gets his 31st victory. He's had 28 of those with Kevin Harvick on his 44th birthday. I'm sure there's a big smile underneath that mask.
Definitely.
Chats with Bob Smith, the car chief. In 6 of the last 7 races at Atlanta, Kevin Harvick has led the most laps. And today, he leads the last one. Maybe today the silence won't be so deafening as it was at Darlington for race winner Kevin Harvick. Jamie?
Certainly is a special place for Kevin Harvick as he makes it 3 now. I saw Rodney Childers making his way off the pit box. Kevin Harvick gets unplugged, unhooked, gets that helmet off. NASCAR official standing and waiting with the flag in hand. A lot of stuff to get off. He's been on there for 3.5 hours at this point. Kevin, I was just saying what a special place this is for you. And you just went reverse around the track with that salute. What was going through your mind at that point?
Well, I didn't get to show it very good a couple years ago with my gloves on, so I made sure I took my gloves off this year. Obviously, first win came for me here at Atlanta, and this is just a racetrack that I've taken a liking to, and you always come back and have those memories, and now you want to celebrate you know, everything that Dale Earnhardt did for this sport, and to come here and be able to do that with wins and go to victory lane is pretty special. So just got to thank everybody from Busch Light. We've got corn all over our car this week. So Busch Light for the Farmers campaign. Go buy all those corn cans so we can donate 100 grand.
Kevin, this car wasn't a walk in the park the whole race. You actually said it was terrible at one point.
Yeah.
What did it take to get you guys steered in the right direction and so dominant there at the end?
Well, they had a great pit stop. We got a restart on the bottom, and they got my car to take off. So, you know, I was able to get track position. And then once I could get through those first 10 laps and my car was freed up enough to where I could get in a rhythm and really start hitting my marks, and then by about lap 25, I could start driving away. So just proud of everybody from Busch Light and Ford, Stewart Haas Racing. Thank you guys for everything. Hunt Brothers Pizza, Fields, Mobile One, Jimmy John's. I know I'm going to forget somebody. Haas, everybody who helps us on this car, and you the fans. We appreciate everything you guys do for us.
28th win with crew chief Rodney Childers, who celebrates a birthday today, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. Kevin Harvick with a big celebration here in Atlanta. Joe Gibbs Racing, 3 of the top 5. Blaney 4th, and Kurt Busch up for 6th, the first Chevrolet. Kevin Harvick salutes the memory of Dale Earnhardt. Kevin Harvick, your winner in Atlanta on a hot and humid day. Looked like it was fun for Harvick, but it was work for a lot of the drivers in this 40-car field. Here's Bubba Wallace debriefing and getting lightheaded right there after finishing 21st. And Jamie, is he okay?
It was certainly hot indeed, and Bubba, after a few moments, sat up and started laughing and talking with his crew. Are you okay? What happened?
I don't even know. Long race, I guess. I stood up too fast. Well, I guess I was told I was going to do media. And sat down and stood up too fast. And I got dizzy, got lightheaded. But, excuse me, I feel fine now. Quick scare for everybody. But not the day we wanted for a McDonald's Chevrolet, that's for sure. We thought we were okay. We had that loose tire, loose wheel. That sucked. But all in all, just couldn't get a hold on our balance. So all in all, we will go on and go to Martinsville.
Bubba, the start of this race today was very impactful for many reasons.
Get at it. Get at it.
What did it mean to you to see everybody come together and recognize and take a moment of listening? You okay? He's not okay.
Where's medical? Yep, I think we're going to allow Bubba to catch his breath here in what was a very emotional day for everyone.
And you know, he mentioned it about getting up too fast. I've seen this with a few drivers over the years where you've sweat a lot. Look at, I mean, this is Ryan Newman, who's absolutely exhausted, and you can see how much this race has taken out of these drivers today. It's a lot of work inside that car, burn a lot of calories, losing a lot of fluids, and it's very easy to get up, you know, from being seated so long and get up quickly and get very lightheaded, and that's exactly what happened to Bubba Wallace.
All right, we'll be back to wrap up from Atlanta Motor Speedway, where Kevin Harvick is your winner. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Bubba Wallace is okay, being tended to by medical personnel there, but you see he is okay. Let's catch up with the second place finisher today and go back down to Jamie.
Well, it was a strong day for the Toyotas. Kyle Busch coming out second there. And Kyle, it was a good run for a while. The Toyotas were having a great day. You guys, unfortunately, you end up second. Though, take us through the day.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up second. We ended up not too far behind the 4, who's the best here, you know, so it's hard to beat him when you come to his home turf, if you will, at Atlanta. They're really fast. But overall, my guys did a great job. They gave me a great M&M's Fudge Brownie Camry. We were able to keep it up front all day. We had good pit stops all day. I didn't screw up and speed on pit road today, so that's going for us. And certainly want to give a shout out to Interstate Batteries, TRD, Toyota, Ream, Rowdy Energy, and everybody that makes our stuff possible. So hopefully we can keep building on this momentum and keep rolling.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for waiting.
Second place for Kyle Busch to Kevin Harvick. Tonight on Fox, Last Man Standing is next, and here's the rest of the lineup. Wednesday night, they'll suit up again for the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500 on FS1, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can catch up on all the sports news on NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Atlanta Motor Speedway did not disappoint on a day that was emotionally and physically draining. Kevin Harvick put on a clinic and won the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500.
NASCAR is live on FS1.
We're going to go racing. We're going to crank it up for you on Fox.
The Cup Series. Xfinity Series.
Stick to the plan, have fun today.
And Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series.
Another lead change.
All live.
2 laps to go.
Plus, get your daily inside track on everything NASCAR with Race Hub. NASCAR is live on FS1.